topic of conversation these days is the heat, and we all know how hot it's been. Put hot in a baseball context, and your Rangers are the talk of the town. With the second best record in July and leading the American League in both batting average and ERA, they are on the verge of their best month of the season. Tonight, for the first time this season, the Minnesota Twins get to experience both the hottest team and hottest ballpark in baseball. Another big crowd braving the heat tonight as the Rangers open a 4-game series, their last look of the season at the Minnesota Twins. And welcome Dave Barnett along with Tom Grieve to put in perspective what Brett Cecil of the Blue Jays did last night in shutting out the Rangers on 4 hits. Look at the numbers that he was going up against that the Rangers have put up this month.
Yeah, in their home ballpark where they've hit really well, and it really puts it in perspective when you see the game he pitched last night. It's been an excellent month of July for the Rangers. They've gone 15-5 this month, and they've done it as you would expect with great hitting. They've scored over 6 runs a game, but they've also pitched well. Their ERA in July is under 3, 15-5, but it's not the best record. The Red Sox are 16-3.
And tonight, Derek Holland on the mound. He says it's time to get off the roller coaster. He had the back-to-back shutouts, 3 shutouts already this year. Last time out, couldn't hold the 8-3 lead in Anaheim, the game that ended up ending the Rangers' 12-game winning streak. And he'll be on the mound against Nick Blackburn, starting for Minnesota. Offseason makes his home in Denton. And Joe Mauer on the field at first base tonight. The Rangers get their first look of the season at him as well. Sports Southwest, brought to you by your Texas Ford dealers. Check out the Ford F-150 and drive one. Ford is the best in Texas. By the Progressive Insurance Group. For money-saving car insurance quote, call 1-800-PROGRESSIVE today. By Jack in the Box. Jack's Really Big Chicken Sandwich Combo is back for only $3.99. By Budweiser. Great times are waiting. Grab some buds. And by Southwest Airlines, new Rapid Rewards, unlimited reward seats, and no blackout dates. Rangers have taken the field. We welcome Emily Jones.
Well, just as hot as the weather are the Texas Rangers starting pitchers, and it's really been that way from the beginning of the season. Hard to tell what's more impressive, the numbers they've put up or the fact that it's basically the same starting rotation that's been intact since opening day.
There's been no serious problems so far, and that's been a good thing. I guess that's a testament to our coaching staff and strength coach keeping us in shape and make sure we do our lifting every day. And the guys have been doing that, and it's just nice to be able to have the same 5 guys out there so far. And we're just trying to be consistent and keep us in games, and hopefully we can do that the rest of the year.
Matt Harrison with tonight's Geico quote of the game. This staff has 65 quality starts. That's third in the major leagues. Also 46 wins to the starting rotation's credit. That is third in the majors as well. I asked Eric Nadel and Ron Washington, John Blake, even if they could remember the last time that a starting rotation was intact this deep into the season. Most of those guys went back to 99 to think of the last time they'd gone this far in, guys.
It is a testament and very pleasant surprise for a rotation that had some question marks coming into the season. Southwest Airlines starting lineup for Ron Gardenhire and the Twins. Jason Repko leading off in center. Alexi Casilla is at second. Joe Mauer playing a lot of first. Tonight he's catching and batting third. Michael Kadaya, their all-star, at first base. Jason Kubel DHing. Danny Valencia at third. Delman Young in left. Rookie Trevor Plouffe is in right field. And Tsuyoshi Nishioka, formerly of the Chiba Latte Marines in Japan. Shortstop batting ninth. First pitch from Derek Holland is the ball to Jason Repko.
Check out Derek Holland. He's had 20 starts, nice one-loss record. As you would expect with a young pitcher, there's been some inconsistencies, but there's been some terrific games. He's thrown 3 shutouts. That's tied for the most in the American League. Back on June 9th, he had a pretty good game against Minnesota. He was in charge of that game, and Michael Kadire hit a 3-run homer, kind of turned the whole game around, but Derek struck out 10 in that game and really threw the ball well. Key for Derek, I think, is always the command of his fastball. And his last start in Anaheim after the 2 shutouts, he just didn't command it the way he had, and it really hurt him. And we'll see if he has that fastball command in tonight's game.
Jason Repko went around, strikes out for the first out of the game. The Ranger defense behind Derek Holland tonight has Hamilton, Chavez, and Cruz in the outfield. Chris Davis at third, Andrews, Young, and Moreland rest the infield, and Mike Napoli will be behind the plate. Mike Napoli with his catcher's ERA at 2.37. Last 6 games he started behind the plate, 4 earned runs in 53 innings. That is an 0.68 catcher's ERA. And Alexi Casilla drives the first pitch in the air to right center field. Chavez is there, 2 quick outs.
You'd love to see the hitter jump on that type of a pitch, a good fastball in. You got to be pretty aware and ready to hit a 96-mile-an-hour fastball as the first pitch you've seen. And he couldn't. He just hit a little blooper off the handle out to center field for a nice quick out.
So the Rangers' first look this year at Joe Mauer, who was the subject of much controversy, gnashing of teeth in the Twin Cities until he finally made his debut. Happened not long after the Rangers were up first part of last month at Target Field. And the average is fine. As you can see, hitting well last 11 games. But Tom still without a single home run.
Yeah, and I think when he signed his big contract, we were talking about this before the ball game, he had hit 28 home runs. And if you're the Twins, I think you felt a little more comfortable with that huge contract, seeing Mauer put up some power numbers, but they haven't translated at the new ballpark. New ballpark's a little bit deeper all the way around, and some of those balls that he was hitting out of the Metrodome aren't going out of the new ballpark.
He has had, in fact, only one home run in a year and a half at Target Field. And Derek Holland,
I'd say he's got pretty good command of his fastball today.
Finishing off a very impressive 1-2-3 9-pitch 2-strikeout top of the first. Now we'll see if the Rangers can put together with their Southwest Airlines starting lineup. Again, leading with Ian Kinsley, who is DHing in the leadoff spot tonight. Andrews batting second. Hamilton at left. Michael Young is playing second and batting cleanup. Cruz and right. Davis at third. Napoli behind the plate. Moreland at first. Andy Chavez is in center against Nick Blackburn.
He's had 20 starts, and he's having one of his better seasons. A winning record, an ERA under 4. He's never had an ERA under 4 before. He throws a lot of sinkers, gets a lot of ground ball outs. 5th most, as a matter of fact, in the American League. He keeps the ball down, and when he's pitching well, it'll be down around the knees, sinking, and he'll get a lot of ground balls. Not a strikeout pitcher. He's got pretty good control. He'll give up some base hits.
One ball and a strike to Kinsler. Blackburn, age 29, out of Bell City High School in Oklahoma and Seminole State Junior College. Twins drafted in 29th round 2001 as a draft and follow. He began his career in their organization the following year. Made it up to the big leagues in 2007. And Kinsler, only one walk in his last 10 games. The 2-2 pitch down the right field line. A long run for Casilla and Kadire. Neither one can get there.
Blackburn's last 2 starts have been pretty good. He's got 2 no decisions. Gave up no runs in one of them and only 1 earned run in the other. Prior to that, he'd had 3 forgettable starts, really. 29 hits in 13 innings, 18 runs. But he's turned it around in his last 2 starts.
And he says the key is keeping the ball down.
Yep. Yeah, he's one of those guys that doesn't have overpowering stuff. And if he doesn't have good command of his pitches, then he might get hit around a little bit. But when he's pinpointing that sinker, he can be really tough.
Ground ball. And thrown out by Valencia as we check the rest of the Minnesota defense. In their outfield, Delman Young, Jason Repko, and Trevor Plouffe. With Valencia, Nishioka, Casilla, and Kadire third to first around the infield, and Mauer is doing the catching.
He's a tough guy to try for a right-hand hitter to try to pull the ball too, because he's thrown a couple of good cutters already in the game. That's what he got Ian out with. Had him reaching for it, pulled it off the end of the bat. on the ground to the left side.
Elvis dribbles the first pitch, tough play, and Blackburn can't make it. Infield hit, ends in 0 for 12 for Elvis Andrus.
And that's really a situation where the pitcher's a pretty good athlete, and it probably hurt him right there because it allowed him to get to the ball, and when he did, he didn't have any play. If there was going to be a play, Valencia, the third baseman, was going to be the guy to make the play, not the pitcher. The pitcher's going toward the third baseline. He's going to have a hard time getting the ball and throwing it, whereas Valencia is coming in and could make the bare hand play and maybe have a chance to get Elvis. But as soon as Blackburn caught the ball, Elvis had a base hit.
So Elvis at first base, 29 stolen bases, still tied for second in the American League. And here's Josh Hamilton, who has hit Nick Blackburn well, 6 for 12 with the home runs. And a lot of Rangers have pretty good numbers against Nick Blackburn. Josh among them right there. And in the month of July, 325, 19 home runs, 17 runs scored in 20 games. No coincidence when Rangers are playing well. Usually Josh Hamilton is hitting well. And fights that one off. It is just fair. Down the left field line it goes. Andrus waved home, and the throw way late and behind him. And the Rangers lead it 1-0.
That's good third base coaching by Dave Anderson. I didn't think there was any way he was going to be able to score on that. But Dave has a really good feel for what the outfielder is going to do when he picks the ball up. And I think that Delman Young, who's got a strong arm, was surprised that Elvis was going to score on that ball. Very alert by Dave to wave him home, and he scored easily.
RBI number 56 for Hamilton. It is a double.
Yeah, nice little break for the Rangers, and a swinging bunt infield hit, and then a little blooper off the handle on a good pitch actually from Blackburn. Falls in for an RBI double.
So already half as many hits as they got all last night against Brett Cecil. Here's Michael Young, who had a hit in 4 trips. Josh Hamilton safe at second, safe and secure New York life. Michael, a 7 for 13 series against the Blue Jays, including his 4 for 4 4-run performance on Friday. And he drives that one deep right field. Going back, it is gone. A 2-run home run for Michael Young, and it's 3-0.
Nice job of hitting by Michael. That's the proverbial inside-out swing that Michael has used to get almost 2,000 hits. And he hit this one on the good part of the bat, got it up in the air just enough. On a night where it looks like the ball's carrying pretty well in that direction. Ball comes back and looks like it catches. Actually caught the inside part of the plate. But again, remember, Michael stands way off the plate. That didn't look like a pitch inside. Mainly because Michael's far enough off the plate to where he handled it easily. You watch him swing, you thought that pitch might have been right down the middle of the plate.
Well, here's Cruz, who is 3 for 7 with a homer lifetime against Blackburn. And ahead of the count, 2 balls and no strikes. Following the infield hit by Elvis, how close was this off the bat of Hamilton?
Yeah, it looked like about a foot. Let's see. Yeah. Boy, you talk about Mike Malinsky, the third base umpire, being right on top of that one. Watch his concentration. He kind of curves right into the tarp. And Elvis, hustling all the way, was waved home, and he scored on it.
3-1 to Cruz. So an infield hit, a bloop that barely falls fair. Then a 2-run home run opposite field style by Michael Young. And a line drive to center field for Cruz. So the Rangers have 4 straight hits. This is not the Nick Blackburn Ron Gardenhire and Rick Anderson saw in those first 2 outings he put together out of the All-Star break.
Yeah, you know, with a little luck, he might have had a little bit different before Young and Cruz got up on the little infield hit, the little swinging bunt. He made a good pitch on Hamilton, jammed him, and the little blooper stayed fair. So through 3 hitters, he was throwing the ball great. Then he got a ball that Michael could handle, and Nelly hit that ball hard up the middle. So a couple of softly hit balls and then a couple of ropes.
Cruz now with a 5-game hitting streak and 9 for his last 17. In a streaky year. Well, he got a good streak. So conversation concluded. Here's Chris Davis, who will try and keep it going here, the Rangers first. Chris, in his first 2 games back up for the Rangers, his 3rd stint this year. 1 for 6. The hit was an RBI single. And he takes strike 1. On Washington so far, says Chris Davis, really swung the bat well Saturday. Last night he said Cecil just didn't let anybody swing the bat well.
Yeah, the one guy that swung the bat pretty well last night, Mitch Moreland.
Line drive, but right at Valencia. There's the second out.
Mitch Moreland flied out to the outfield on balls he just got underneath, and then he hit that line drive to right field that Bautista dove and caught. He's playing out in short right field. So Mitch actually had pretty good at bats against a tough lefty. He might have been the only one that had multiple good at bats last night, even though he was 0 for 3 and didn't have anything to show for him.
So Moreland on deck, hoping he can get a crack at Blackburn here in the first. Mike Napoli 4 for 8 with a double against Nick. And over his last 7 games, 10 for 21. That's 476 for Mike. Had a good curve for a first pitch strike. Mike continues to draw a lot of walks. 5 in his last 6 games, 30 on the year, and that's second to Kinsler. Mike in just his 60th game. Ian Kinsler's playing his 98th. So finding ways to contribute even when he's not swinging the bat well, which he most certainly is these days. And a ground ball for Nishioka to end the first inning, but the Rangers signal the difference in 24 hours. 3 runs on 4 hits. The big one, opposite field, 2-run home run. Number 9 on the year for Michael Young. The ultimate online experience for fans. Log on to take part in the most interactive forum during Rangers games. Stats, trends, exclusive analysis, and live Twitter feeds. Plus, you can even share your thoughts with the game broadcast. Fox Sports Game Connect now available on foxsportssouthwest.com. Michael Kadire off his first All-Star appearance. Swings and fouls the first pitch of the second inning off. And Kadire having an All-Star year, 297, 14 homers, 48 runs batted in. And over his last 22 games, hitting .346. Derek Holland could hardly have been sharper in the first inning. 9 pitches, 7 strikes, a couple of strikeouts. Dyer had an excellent series last month against the Rangers. Twins won 3 out of 4. And still a ball and 2 strikes. He'll be followed by Kubel and Valencia here in the second inning. Derek Holland looks for a shutdown inning. Staked to the 3-0 lead. The home run by Young, 379 feet. And Kadire barely able to get some contact, keep that one alive. Another good crowd as maybe the Rangers are headed finally toward a 3 million home season, and a 1-2 pitch single up the middle for Kadire to start the Twins' second.
Good swings by Kadire. Kadire, remember, is the guy that hit the 3-run homer against Derek in Minnesota.
Time to check in with Jim Knox.
All right, Dave, as you mentioned, a great crowd on hand. These little leaguers, you ready to watch the Rangers win? Yeah! There we go. Why not? Yes, Community Corner tonight. We're talking about this past Saturday. What a job the Rangers' wives, employees, and fans did that battled the heat to help repair the boys and girls clubs in the Fortress Youth Development Center. Volunteers painted, did landscaping, hung up shelving, you name it, they did it to help out a great cause. For those who want to join Team Rangers, you can do so. Log on to TexasRangers.com/foundation. Dave?
All right, Jim, that is a great program. We can take advantage of the opportunity to help out. First pitch, a strike to Kubel, DHing tonight. And a one-hopper past Chris Davis and into left field, and the first 2 Twins reach here in the second.
I was taking big hops, which were tough for Chris to handle. Unfortunately, it looked like an easy ground ball off the bat that might be turned into a double play with Kubel running. One big hop and then a tough short hop right here.
Just passed his glove and threw for an E5 charge to Chris. He has been getting a lot of work at third base at Round Rock. Just in case this eventuality occurred where he'd be needed at third. Sure enough, he is, with Beltre on the 15-day DL. And here's Danny Valencia with a season high 8-game hitting streak at .333. Valencia, a great rookie season last year. Hit .311. And at 2-0 with 2 on, nobody out, Derek Holland immediately facing a challenge after being staked to the first inning lead. Valencia, 19th round draft pick out of the University of Miami, 2006. It's been the case all year long. Nobody turns more double plays than the Rangers. A little bit of an unusual infield lineup tonight in the absence of Beltre again.
Napoli looked like he was fooled by that pitch. Might have been the old called for the fastball, got the curveball trick right there. You see Mike sees it high, thinking it's the fastball that he called. Watch him reach up. And then he has to come back down quickly when he sees that Derek didn't get the sign correctly and threw him a curveball instead of a fastball. Now he's behind in the count. 3 balls and 1 strike.
Valencia has grounded into 12 double plays this year. Gets this one in the air, and Chavez goes back in center field, edge of the track, but that will allow Cadaya to take third with 1 out.
Now, the good thing is 3-1, he got the hitter, and it's first and third, so a good ground ball could be a double play right here.
And it'll be Delman Young, the veteran left fielder. Hitting .263, 2 homers, 26 runs batted in. And with excellent success so far against Holland, 5 for 10 with the 2 homers. And Young, since the All-Star break, almost a .300 average. One of many Minnesota Twins who have spent time on the DL. In fact, probably take less time to talk about the ones who haven't been injured this year.
Yeah, it's been key guys, too. Virtually every good guy in their team's been hurt except maybe Cadaya.
They're without Justin Morneau again. They've had him for 55 games, but he's clearly not been himself, which is an MVP type talent. Morneau hitting .225. They have Mauer back, but it's a singles hitting version of Mauer, who isn't being asked to catch every game by Ron Goddenhire, but at least in the lineup again. Good pitch there by Derek, 1-2.
Well, you can get Young to chase balls out of the strike zone as well. He's been up 250 times. He's only walked 9 times.
And Davis hangs on to this hard one hopper and turns it into 2.
Boy, it's rare that you get a chance to redeem yourself, but Chris did on a harder hit ball, actually, and he turned it into a double play. He feels good about that, and so does Derek.
Fans Choice 20 game plan, and enjoy the flexibility of selecting the 20 games you want. You can choose from 10 locations starting at only $100 per plan. The Fans Choice plan now available through August 8th only. So visit TexasRangers.com today. Boy, what a big inning that turned into for both Derek Holland and Chris Davis. And Moreland, Chavez, and Kinsler now against Nick Blackburn in the Rangers second. Good first pitch strike to Mitch. Tom mentioned, a lot of good at-bats. Nothing to show for it against Cecil yesterday. That snapped his 5-game hitting streak. Casilla moving well to his right for the first out.
Stayed with that ball. The other one was off to his left that took a bad hop and got by him. That was right at him. Took almost the same hop, but Chris was there to block it with his chest, corral the ball, and turn the double play. It was almost the same hop. He was just in front of that one, didn't have a chance to get in front of the last one.
So Chavez again looks at the first pitch curve for the strike. Valencia already in on the grass at third, expecting a bunt possibility. Chavez, pretty good success though, swinging away against Blackburn, and does so here and dumps that base hit opposite field into left. 5 hits already, the first time through the order for the Rangers.
Yeah, Blackburn's made a couple of good pitches to Chavez and Hamilton and jammed them both, and they've just looped it in to left field for soft singles. Endy swung at a pitch that looked like it was out of the strike zone, just kind of fought it off and blooped it in for a hit.
Fox Sports Southwest and the Texas Rangers have teamed up with Carter Blood Care for the Great American Gives. When you give blood to Carter Blood Care in August, you'll automatically be registered for a chance to win a Fox Sports Southwest VIP experience at Rangers Ballpark in Arlington. Ian Kinsler now with Chavez at first, 1 out. Ian grounded to third, his first time up. Rangers with a 3-game lead in the division over the Angels beginning play tonight. Things are going well for them in Cleveland so far. In a game that's now the top half of the 5th inning, the Indians leading the Angels 1-0 behind Fausto Carmona, who is throwing a 3-hitter so far.
Yeah, Carmona's one of those guys, when he's on, he can shut you down. And when he's not, the opposite is true. I guess a lot of pitchers are like that. When any good big league pitcher is on his game, you're going to have a hard time scoring.
Dan Herron is on the mound for the Angels in that game.
And Blackburn's got a good assortment of pitches. A sinker, somewhere around 90 miles an hour. Good curveball, changeup, slider, cutter, whatever you want to call it. Has all the pitches. Keeps the ball down. Pretty good command of all of them, too.
Curve stays high to Ian, and it's 2 balls and no strikes. Well, Blackburn has been nothing if not consistent in his career. As we said, he came up originally in 07. Full-time in 08, he was 11-11 with a 4.05 ERA. Next year, he was 11-11 with a 4.03 earned run average. Last year, 10-12. ERA jumped quite a bit to 5.42, and Kinsler gets that one fair. Chavez will take third. Kinsler in the second base with a double, and the throw sails. No one at first. Here comes Chavez, and it's 4-0.
Yep, no one backing that play up. The first baseman, Kadire, was coming in case he had to be the cutoff man. The only one that could have backed that up is the right fielder, and he probably didn't have time to get over there. But the other side of it is the throw from Young was really an unnecessary throw. Ian was going to be safe anyway. Best thing to do, really, and I think if Delman could do it over again, he would just throw the ball into the cutoff man. I really don't think he had a play at second. He's got a pretty strong arm. But Ian, you could see, is already at second base, and the ball just rolls down the right field line. Another nice break for the Rangers.
And a 4-0 lead. Elvis Andrus got the first inning started by beating out an infield hit, a slow roller at Blackburn. Unsuccessfully tried to make a play on down the third base line. So Kinsler a double. There on the throw by Young. And a ball and a strike to Elvis.
And Chavez would have ended up at third base, so he scores on the error, not an RBI for Ian.
Rangers so far, well, obviously this is very early. We're only the second inning, but this is the type of ball that the Twins were playing when they started 17 at 37 this year. They bring the infield in now, trying to keep it 4-0. And it's 2 balls and a strike to Elvis. Gardenhire's club, June 1st, found itself 20 games under 500 and 16.5 out in the Central. How much progress since then? They were 5 back just 5 days ago.
You think of their team, if everybody's healthy and playing up to their capabilities, the power that they have in their lineup. Mauer has been out a lot of the season. Morneau has been out a lot of the season. They've improved a lot since that bad start after 54 games. In the next 47 games, they're 30-17. And a lot of that has been done with guys on the disabled list. Right now, Denard Span, their leadoff hitter, is on the disabled list. Kubel has missed time. He's knocked in 100 runs in years past. Kadire is usually a 6th place hitter for him, the guy that can knock in 100 runs, 80 to 100 runs. So they've got 4 or 5 guys in the lineup capable of hitting a good number of home runs and knocking in 80 to 110 runs. And most of them have been hurt for a significant part of the year.
Andrews keeps fouling off pitch after pitch. Well, the thing about this comeback, and they have left themselves over 2 months to try and continue it, it's very much in their DNA because they're a team that has a history just in the Gardenhire years of falling behind and then charging August and September to Central Division championship after championship.
Well, they've got a lot of teams to go past. Detroit, Cleveland, and Chicago are all ahead of them right now. But if they get everybody healthy with their past and the confidence they have that they could do it again because of what they've done in the past, it's not an insurmountable deficit for them. It's going to be tough, obviously. They have to get everybody healthy and start playing their brand of ball.
Finally, a fair ball, and Valencia looking Kinsler back to the bag. Throws out Elvis for the second out of the inning.
A good job right there by Blackburn. Kept throwing sinker after sinker after sinker, and Elvis kept banging them all into the ground foul and then beat that one into the ground. A nice easy one hopper for the third baseman.
So that brings up Hamilton, who drove in the first Ranger run in the first with a bloop double that landed about a foot fair down the left field line. And then he scored as the next batter, Michael Young, hit one 379 feet just over the wall in right. Rocket into the right field corner here for Josh. Kinsler can crawl home. It's 5-0. Hamilton already has 2 doubles and 2 runs batted in.
Well, one was softly hit off the handle. That one was a rocket off the good part of the bat. One of those nice 2-out hits. Missed the chance with 1 out and a man on third, and Josh, right off the bat, jumps on a sinker that stays right down the middle of the plate and never sunk, and jumped all over it.
Well, you see a pitch in that location to Hamilton, and you think, boy, Dick Blackburn's lucky that didn't land 500 feet somewhere.
Yep, that's another way to look at it, I guess.
So 5-0. 7 hits already for the Rangers. We'll see how he approaches Young in this second at bat. First one, Michael needed only 2 pitches to see one he liked. And it was an inside out swing and a pitch that was actually a bit inside, around knee high. Blackburn working him away here. Our Ford leaderboard. This was coming into tonight. Top batting averages In the majors, you had Jose Reyes having an MVP type year for the Mets. Gonzalez likewise for the Red Sox. Then Bautista and Young, and they were both at 330 before last night.
A lot of familiar names there except for Casey Kochman. Kind of glad to see him up there. He was a #1 draft choice, a highly touted young player with the Angels. He was traded, been on a number of different teams, and maybe he's finally coming into his own right now. Maybe he'll be one of those late bloomers, but he's having a nice year for Tampa Bay.
Yeah, the teams that's saying, why did he do that for us right now, is the Mariners. Boy,
yeah.
Could they have used that kind of hitting from him.
I'll say. His dad, Tom Kochman, is a longtime scout in Florida and a minor league, rookie league manager for the Angels. Has been for a long time. Very well-respected baseball guy.
Michael, the best in the league at these situations, runners in scoring position. The Rangers so far tonight are already 2 for 3. This will be Nick Blackburn's 41st pitch. And it's driven down the right field line, but Michael knew that had too much slice on it. Unlike this 1-0 pitch in the first.
Michael's a real tough guy to pitch inside, because if you really get it inside, it's a ball. He's not going to swing at it. And if it's on the inside corner, it's actually a pretty good pitch for him to hit where he stands at the plate.
And even a few inches inside the plate, he'll turn on that one. Sometimes jerk it into the left field stand. Opposite field, base hit again. Hamilton headed home. It is 6-0 Rangers.
Well, that's why it's so frustrating to pitch to Michael. Because if you throw him a strike right on the inside corner, or as you say, Dave, a couple of inches inside, he gets a great swing at it because he's off the plate so much. But if you look at him and say, man, I can throw this guy away. Look how far off the plate he is. He does that. He can reach out on a pitch away and drive it to right field. Look how far outside that pitch is. And still hit it hard into right field for a base hit. So his style of hitting is tough for a pitcher to attack, because either way, inside or outside, he can handle it.
Big starts by both Hamilton and Young, both 2 for 2. Michael now at 70 runs batted in, 3 of the Rangers 6 in this game. Juan Gardenhire, as of yet, has nobody throwing at his bullpen. And here's Cruz, who singled his first time up after getting ahead 3-0. Goes after the first curveball he sees here, and Repko is there in center field. But another big inning for the Rangers. They have 3 in each of the first 2 off of Nick Blackburn. Geico Insurance, where 15 minutes could save you 15% on car insurance. By AT&T, rethink possible. And by Whataburger, just like you like it. Well, Derek Holland took the mound in the bottom of the first, already the beneficiary of a 3-run, 4-hit inning. The Rangers gave him another of those in the bottom of the second inning, and now here in the third, it's the 8, 9, and 1 hitters, beginning with Trevor Plouffe, who was called up from AAA Rochester. July 14th is his second tour of duty with the Twins this year. Former first-round pick, 2004. Holland worked a 1-2-3 first inning with a couple of strikeouts. Got out of the second inning scoreless, despite a leadoff single by Kadire and an error by Davis at third. Davis helped him out there by starting a 5-4-3 inning ending double. I think we've had some audio difficulties. We apologize. We hope they stay away. We'll work to see that they do. Meanwhile, 2 balls and 2 strikes to Plouffe. 6'2", 200. Just turned 25 and hits that one well to left field. It is caught up against the wall by Josh Hamilton.
A lot of outfielders will go into the wall. I don't think any of them do it better than Josh, though. He is totally fearless when he gets to the warning track. That's why he's able to make so many plays like this. That's a hanging curveball that Plouffe gets a pretty good wood on it. And Josh right in front of the fence on the warning track, goes up and hits the heel of his glove and stays right in the tip of his glove, fortunately. And Derek got away with a curveball that he didn't get down where he wanted it. Watch the ball hit the heel of his glove and then stay right in the tip of his glove.
Yeah, they stared it down just to make sure it wasn't going to jump out of the webbing there. Meanwhile, 2-0 to Tsuyoshi Nishioka from Japan. Injured when the Rangers visited Target Field earlier, and he sends one deep out into the gap and right. It's Cruz with another great catch for out number 2.
Frustrating couple of innings for the Twins. They got the first 2 men on last inning, couldn't do anything, and the 8th and 9th place hitters this inning hit the ball hard. But Josh and Nelly run them both down right near the track that time.
Back to the top of the order as a result, and Jason Repko, who struck out to begin the game. Repko injured most of the month of May. His problem, a strained right quad. He's come back strong since then. 344 over his last 12 games. Repko signed as a free agent for the 2010 season. Former first-round pick by the Dodgers out of Hanford High School in Washington State. And a career 227 hitter through last year. A little bit better than that so far this year, 240. Derek Holland tonight looking for a career high if he gets his 9th win. He was 8-13 2 years ago as a rookie. And comes into tonight's contest 8-4 off the Wednesday no decision in the loss 9-8 at the Angels. It was charged to the man that followed Holland, Tommy Hunter. Works the count full now to Repko. Derek in that game had some very impressive innings, just not able to string them together, and ended up allowing 7 runs on 9 hits and 5 1/3. But should have a 1-2-3 third here as Michael Young handles the pop-up. And Holland has executed a couple of shutdown innings, staked to a 6-0 lead. Join the Rangers for Twitter Tuesdays this season. Every Tuesday afternoon, a different Rangers player, coach, or executive will answer the questions you tweet. Find details at TexasRangers.com/Twitter Tuesday. And Chris Davis leading off the Ranger third. He hit it hard his first time up, but a line drive right to the Twins' third baseman, Valencia. Nick Blackburn throwing 43 pitches in the first 2 innings, 6 runs on 8 hits, 4 extra base hits. And that flag down behind second by Nishioka, but the throw pulls Kadire off the bag, and Davis is safe at first.
Yeah, it almost looked like he didn't have the arm strength to make that play. Got to the ball. Looked like he got to the ball in time to make the play. But as he turns to throw it, well, it's not so much arm strength, just not an accurate throw, I guess is a better way of saying it.
Will Rudd is our official score. We'll see if that goes as an infield hit for Davis. No, it's an error. Charge to Nishioka. Second error committed by the Twins. The first on a throw by Young allowed Endy Chavez to score, the first of the 3 second inning runs. And here's Mike Napoli, who ended the first with a fielder's choice grounder. That one a little bit low. Mike Winters is the home plate umpire tonight. Mike Everett at first, Chris Scuccioni at second, Mike Polinsky at third. Napoli 10 for his last 22. 13 homers, 35 runs batted in as a part-time player. Blackburn at his first 5 career starts against the Rangers had pitched pretty well, 1 and 2 with a .351 earned run average. Nothing like the shelling that he has absorbed in these first 2 innings tonight. We said he lives in the off-season in Denton. His father, Chuck, the golf coach at Geyer High School in Denton, says that Nick was competitive even as a 3-year-old in T-ball. Just have that motor inside him. And he was at a baseball camp at Oklahoma State. John Farrell, now the manager of the Blue Jays, just in here. Saw him throw it, asked him if he was a pitcher. He said he wasn't, and he asked, well, why not? And Nick says, well, as a pitcher, no one, least of all me, had any idea where the ball was going.
But he's come around a long way since then.
Yes, he has. He figured some stuff out since then. Both at Dell City High School and Seminole State Junior College in Oklahoma. Shot up the middle, base hit for Napoli. The Rangers have the first 2 aboard here in the 3rd. Time again to check in with Jim Knox.
All right, Dave, I think we have the entire town of Atlanta, Texas here tonight, all coming down to the Fox Sports Southwest Fan Express, backed by popular man Bobby D, the Italian Stein from KPYN. You called it last time, the Rangers going on a big winning streak. What do you have this time, Bobby?
Well, last time I was here, the Rangers went on a 12-game winning streak. This time, the Twins are in town. Their cap with the TC copies our Texarkana College caps. And you know how Texas A&M was copied by the Seattle Seahawks, the 12th man. The Twinkies are going down!
There we go. All right, Atlanta, Texas, having a good time tonight.
Hey, Knoxie doesn't have that much hair to spare there. Careful out there, you Atlantans.
Well, they got that right. They wanted to meet the great Jim Knox, and they got their chance out there. Knox is a man of the people, boy.
That could be a dangerous job description.
I don't think anyone around here can walk through the stands and be recognized like Jim.
That ball gets through Maurer. Both runners will move up. Davis to 3rd, Napoli to 2nd. So 2 in scoring position now for Moreland.
Got a couple of people to recognize, Dave. Becky Farrell from Bedford, Texas. She is a prolific baker of cake balls. We have another batch of banana walnut tonight. Thank you, Becky and Tim. Assume they're at the game tonight.
Blackburn charged with his 4th wild pitch of the season.
Also want to wish a happy 21st wedding anniversary to Claudine and Randy Geisel. A couple of great Ranger fans. We'll, I'm sure, see them on the road somewhere this year. And also want to say hi to Joseph Elliott Martin. He's 87 years old. He's a disabled World War II veteran, part of the 1st 101st Airborne Division. Thank you for all that you've done for our country, Joseph. 87 years old and never misses a televised game. So we assume you're watching tonight, Mr. Martin. Hello from the Rangers.
As you saw, left hand first bullpen action of the night for the Twins.
One thing the Twins have, they have an extra guy out in their bullpen. They have 13 pitchers, 8 relievers, and it's probably a good thing, because last night Liriano only pitched 4 innings. They had to use their bullpen quite a bit last night. Swarsak threw about 60 pitches in last night's game.
Yeah, we got 4 righties, 4 lefties out there. A lot of teams carry 1 left-handed reliever. Backhand pick by Kadire. Runners hold. Moreland the first out of the 3rd inning. And as a result of the extra relievers, only a 3-man bench, including Jim Thome, who's got some flu symptoms tonight, but Guard Harris says would be available if needed. So 1 out. Still 2 in scoring position for Endy Chavez. Ranger fans, you can meet Tommy Hunter this Wednesday. Sign up to be the Whataburger What-A-Fan. Don't miss this chance to win great prizes and meet one of your Ranger heroes at Whataburger. Again, the infield in, not all the way in, and on the edge of the grass at short and second, as Valencia and Kadire are on the corners.
Yeah, with one out, it might be a situation where on any ground ball, both runners are going to run. Take a chance that the ball goes through or is bobbled. The worst result is you end up with men at first and third instead of second and third and 2 outs.
Boy, Blackburn really missing some pitches by a lot here in the third, including a wild pitch. That moved both runners up to second and third. Chavez a single. His first time up, scored on the throwing error from left by Delman Young, trying to get Kinsler ill-advised at second base. And this is not very deep at all. Plouffe racing in from right, and no chance for Davis to score on that one, out number 2.
Well, so far, second and third, no outs. Blackburn's gotten a couple, but can he get the third one? Ian with a shot to get another big 2-out hit right here. Blackburn will be trying to work out of a pretty tough jam, second and third and nobody out.
Yes, already down 6-0, base hit. Bad situation turns awful for him, but he's a pitch away from doing just that. Kinsler last time up, though, doubled on a 2-0 pitch down the left field line. And sends this one deep to left field. Young looks up. It is gone. A 3-run home run for Kinsler. And the Rangers have 3 3-run innings off of Nick Blackburn tonight. It's 9-0.
Well, Ian jumped on the first fastball he saw in that at bat. It was a pretty good pitch to hit. And he puts a charge in it. 16th home run for Ian. So much for pitching on a second and out of a second and third no out jam. He got 2/3 of the way through it, but tough to get all the way through it against the Ranger lineup. That looks like it's pretty much down center square.
Number 16 for Ian. Now at 40 runs batted in, and ball 1 to Andrews. 393 feet. Second home run of the game for the Rangers. Michael Young, 2-run shot in the first to right, travel 379 feet just over the wall. Ten hits, 5 extra base hits in 2 2/3 innings by these Ranger bats. And it really makes what Brett Cecil did last night look all the more impressive. As that one knocked down by Nishioka, no play. Elvis is aboard, and the third inning continues.
You know, Dave, I don't know what the outcome of this game is going to be. I think it's looking pretty good for the Rangers right now, but the Rangers coming into tonight had won 10 straight first games of a series, so they're on a pretty good streak.
I like their chances of sending that to 11.
Yeah, I do too.
That will do it for Nick Blackburn, who was gone after just 2 2/3 innings. And he makes way for the lefty Mijares, who inherits a 9-0 deficit. Worst start of the year, 2 2/3. And he gives way on a Verizon call to the bullpen to the 26-year-old lefty from Caracas, Venezuela, Jose Mijares.
Yeah, Mijares, lefty reliever, will be appearing in his 36th game. Got a pretty decent ERA, 4.21. Hasn't given up a home run. That's a pretty good sign in 25 2/3. One problem, though, he has walked 20 in 25 innings. That's not good.
It's his first pitch into Hamilton, who has 2 RBI doubles and 2 runs scored. Nine runs on 11 hits. 1 error, 2 left for the Rangers. For the Twins, no runs a hit. They've already committed 2 errors, including the one of the leadoff batter of this inning, Davis, committed by Nishioka at short, making all these runs unearned. Otherwise, the inning would have ended on the fly out by Chavez before the 3-run homer by Kinsler. Opposite field shot, just a little bit foul there for Josh. So Andrus will return to first. He's got his second infield hit in already 3 at-bats in this game. He's just been playing a little over an hour. And the Rangers are mounting some impressive numbers already. Hamilton and then Young, who is also 2 for 2. 2-run homer in the first, RBI single in the second. Kinsler already has 2 hits, a double and a 3-run homer. Andrus the 2 infield hits. Same group that in managing 4 last night got only 2 out of the infield. 2 of those were infield hits. But Blackburn gone after just 2 2/3. Mijares last worked 3 days ago, 2 scoreless innings, tying a season high against the Tigers. Ground ball down on one knee, Casilla, to make sure he makes this play. And ends the Rangers' 3rd 3-run inning. All the runs this inning courtesy of Ian Kinsler's 16th home run of the year. Boy, you've missed a lot. First inning, Michael Young, 2-run homer, keying a 3-run Ranger first. A lot more of that came from second inning. Hamilton's second RBI double. 1 in each of the first 2. He scored after each. And then the 3rd inning, it was Ian Kinsler with men on second and third with nobody out. Blackburn got Moreland to ground to first, Chavez to fly to shallow right, and it looked like he might wriggle off that hook. But Kinsler sent the first pitch he saw of his third at bat, 393 feet out to left. And the next batter, Andrews, reaching on the infield single. That did it for Blackburn, gone after 65 pitches. Trailing 9-0, 6 of the 9 runs earned. And in the Twin fourth, there are 2, 3, and 4 hitters, Casilla, Maurer, and Kadire. Alexi Casilla fly to center his first time up. And Tom, the job description pretty much here on it, as long as he's out there for Derek Holland with this kind of a lead, throw strikes.
Yeah, and I like what Mike Napoli is doing. He's making him throw his curveball. He hasn't been able to throw it for strikes very well, but Mike's not letting him just go exclusively with his fastball. He's making him throw that curveball, trying to give it a chance to come around.
Let's check in with Emily.
Well, gentlemen, Adrian Beltre making his first comment since being placed on the 15-day DL on Saturday with that hamstring strain, and he is not a fan of the DL.
Yeah, I hate it being on the bench. You know, I guess I have to be a cheerleader now. But, you know, you always been, nobody want to get hurt. And I want to be out there with the guys, but, you know, nothing I can do now. Just accept it and trying to be back as soon as I can.
Adrian did find the bright side in things. You never know with those hamstring injuries, and he said it could have been much worse, out 3 to 4 months instead of a couple of weeks. So he said he's rehabbing, feeling good, and looks forward, of course, to being back on the field.
As do all of us.
Yeah, maybe the silver lining is a couple of weeks off just allows Adrian to be even stronger in September. Try to look at it from the bright side. And the other side is it's going to give other players a chance to shine. Michael moves up to the 4th spot. Chris Davis is going to get some more at bats. So although you don't want one of your stars to miss time, maybe something good will come out of it.
Holland up on Joe Maurer here. No balls and 2 strikes. Chopper. And what looked like a good throw ends up in center field. First and third, nobody out for the Twins.
I think there was a little mix-up between Elvis and Michael as to who was covering second base right there. Looked like they were both in the vicinity of the bag, and neither one of them was able to catch it. Take a look. They're both probably going toward the ball anyway, but Michael's coming to cover the bag to get the throw, and Elvis was right there on the bag as well. Watch, Michael's going to come toward the bag right now as Elvis gets to the bag, and I think Elvis is distracted, shies away from the ball, and it goes right by him. So that's a mix-up between the 2 middle infielders as to who was covering.
The error is charged to Andrews, as definitely looked like it should be. Maurer at first on the fielder's choice, so Casilla at third on the second Ranger error of the game. Davis charged with one in the second. This should be 2. 4-6-3 to take care of Kadire. But a run scores. Casilla comes home from third.
Well, that's okay. First and third, nobody out. Stop the bleeding. Derek made a nice pitch, kept the ball down, Rangers turned the double play. So instead of letting it turn into a big inning, Derek gets the ground ball he needs, and Michael and Elvis turn the double play.
So 9-1 for Holland. Bases empty, 2 outs. And here is Kubel, who reached on the error by Davis at third on a hot shot to just seem to handcuff Chris back in the second. Kubel on the DL from May 31st until last Thursday. A sprained left foot was his issue. A very productive player for them. 90 RBIs plus each of the last couple of years.
Yeah, he's a good hitter. He's got a nice short swing. uses the whole field.
And 2-2. Emily was talking about Adrian Beltre not liking the DL. He's on the DL for the third time in the last 3 years, but before 09 he had gone 8 years, from 01 to 09, without a single serious injury, and those years he was one of the best grinders in baseball, playing almost every game. In 99, his first full year with the Dodgers. And again, 02 right on through 06 with Seattle, and a couple of years after that.
Yeah, he's one of those guys that's pretty much maximized his income in his career because he got to the big leagues so early. He was 19 or 20 with the Dodgers. He became a free agent. Watch out. Became a free agent in the prime of his career at age 26 or 27. Signed a huge contract with Seattle, then became a free agent again twice. Signed a 1-year contract with the Red Sox and then a long-term contract with us when he's still young in the prime of his career. Most guys don't get to the big leagues that quickly and don't get the same opportunity to sign 2 huge contracts like that.
Even more so, most guys don't take up baseball at the comparatively old age of 12 and make the majors 7 years later.
No, that's true.
Ground ball for Elvis, and that'll end that inning. So an unearned run for Minnesota on a couple of base hits. Derek Holland leading now 9-1.
To the bottom of the fourth, all Rangers over the Twins 9-1. And Dave and Tom, you recognize this guy, Odabe McDowell. Actually, he was honored before the game because he was inducted in the National College Baseball Hall of Fame. Check out this nice portrait. Just looked exactly like you as you played at Arizona State, a 2-time All-American and National Player of the Year. What a great honor.
Absolutely. Baseball has been a great sport for me. And Tom Grieve, being here with the Rangers and all, it's a wonderful thing.
Now, fill Ranger fans in on what you're doing now. Where do you live and what are you up to?
Well, I'm back home. I coach high school, Everglades High School, back in Miramar. And I give some private lessons, so I just stay busy and substitute teach as well.
All right, Odabe, congratulations. Good seeing you, and I'll give you the painting back. There you go. Thank you very much. Dave?
Yeah, definitely give him the painting back. He looks like he could still play.
Yeah, Odabe was a good player for the Rangers. Great player at Arizona State. Saw him do an amazing athletic feat.
Speaking of, Michael Young is 3 for 3, all ropes. 2-run homer in the first, RBI single in the second, leadoff single against Miharis here in the fourth. Well, if you remember anything about Oddibe McDowell, this is probably it. Hitting for the cycle. And finishing it up with a home run.
Yeah, Oddibe wasn't a big guy, but he was strong, and he could put a charge in the ball, as you saw right there, 400 plus to right center field. We were playing in a golf tournament one time, a scramble tournament. On one of the holes, instead of teeing off with your driver, they had a baseball bat, and you had to hit your golf ball like a fungo with a baseball bat.
Toss it up.
Toss it up
as far as you can.
And that sounds easy, but it's not as easy as you would think. I tossed it up and popped it up straight up in the air, went about 50 feet.
Cruz hits this one well to left, over the head of Delman Young and off the wall. And it is a double for Nelly, and for the second straight inning, Rangers hit second and third, nobody out.
Well, there's no signs that this offensive outburst by the Rangers is going to end. Anyway, most people popped it up, didn't hit it very far. And I looked out, and they had a stake way out in the fairway. I don't know how far it was, 200 yards, 180 yards, something like that. I said, who hit that one? That was Oddibe McDowell. They said he tossed it up and hit it. Looked just like he hit it with his driver.
That may be more impressive than hitting for the cycle, now that I think about it.
It sounds easy, but, you know, sometimes it's kind of thing that's kind of hard to practice unless you bring your baseball bat to the driving range someday. But toss up a golf ball and try to hit it with a baseball bat and see how far you can hit it. If you connect, you can hit it pretty far, but it's connecting solidly to keep from popping it up. That's the name of the game. But Oddibe did it that day.
Almost half the games the Rangers have played this year, they've had double-digit hits. Pop up here by Davis. So with second and third, nobody out, he will not bring in a run, as Valencia gets the first out of the fourth inning. And we ask tonight's AT trivia question. Michael Young getting 386 with runners in scoring position. Who holds the Rangers record for highest average with runners in scoring position in a season? Michael at third after his leadoff single here in the fourth.
The first 5 hitters in the lineup, I'm doing this real quick, 1, 2, 3, are 11 for 15. Everyone's got 2 hits except Michael's got 3.
Well, the displeasure evident in the crowd here as Napoli will be walked to load the bases with 1 out, set up all the double play possibilities. And also a lefty-lefty matchup against Mitch Moreland, who is the only Ranger already not to have reached base in this game. He's grounded out twice. So Napoli down at first. And Miharis will try to get a ground ball again here for Moreland, who has sent his to second and first. Nine runs on 13 hits for the Rangers. 2 errors, 3 left for the Twins. An unearned run on 3 hits, 2 errors, and 2 left. Miharis inherited a 9-0 game from the starter Nick Blackburn, and got the last out of the third on a ground out by Josh Hamilton. But 3 pitches into the fourth, he found himself in trouble. Well hit right field, and it is over the head of Plouffe, who could not have played that one worse. Young scores, Cruz scores. Napoli to third, Moreland to second, and that goes as a 2-run double, and it's 11-1.
Yeah, Plouffe's problem was, you know, he hasn't played a lot of outfield. He's mostly an infielder, and that's a hard play. for any outfielder, the line shot that's hit directly at you. And I'm sure off the bat this looked like more of a base hit to right field as he comes sideways to catch it. And then when he realized how hard it was hit and where it was going to end, there was not much he could do except pick it up after it hit the wall.
So the merry-go-round started. And the Rangers now are 5 for 9 with runners in scoring position. And again, they have second and third. And Andy Chavez singled and scored his first trip, flying to right last time up. Still only one out. Ground ball off of Miharis. No play for Nishioka. Napoli is home. It is 12-1.
Just one of those games where everything the Rangers hit is finding a hole. They've hit some hard hit balls for sure. And it seems like every bounce is going against the Twins so far in this game. Balls that they've hit hard, the Rangers have run down, and that's a hard hit ball. Could have gone up the middle for 2 runs, though. That's another way of looking at it. As it turns out, it's an RBI infield hit.
Chavez drives in his 16th run.
Well, if the Rangers don't score another run, that'll be an unusual looking scoreboard.
Well, it already is. As Miharis throws strike one to Kinsler. Big night for Ian. Doubled and scored in the second. 3-run homer in the third. I can't remember ever seeing those numbers strung together.
Yeah, I don't remember it.
Hard shot, just foul.
One thing that's usually the case in baseball, it's probably something we've both seen. We just don't remember seeing it, but it is very unusual. I'm sure within a matter of minutes you can punch some numbers into Stats Inc. and find out how many times that's happened in the last 50 years.
Well, the news was good from Cleveland until the Angels batted in the 8th inning against Fausto Carmona, who was shutting them out with a run in the first off of Van Haren. It was 1-0 Cleveland. Not anymore. It's now 2-1 Angels. Indians batting bottom of the 8th. And Haren still on because he's allowed only 3 base hits. Two and 2 to Kinsler. Rangers taking care of their half of things, to say the least, and hoping the Indians could help them out here. They could get the lead back to 4 games in the West. That is just foul. Next up in the bullpen, another lefty, Chuck James. After a delay, the Mariners and the Yankees are in the bottom of the 2nd in New York, and it's 2-0 Yankees. As Seattle tries to end what is now a 15-game losing streak. 12 allowed by the Twins and counting, with first and third, 1 out. And a long run for Repko with a dive. Did he come up with it? No. And another run scores. Moreland is home, and it's 13-1.
Just one of those crazy games. If the Rangers hit it, something good's happening.
A lot of people are saying, where was any of this last night? Just 2 or 3 of these, but that's how baseball go. Can't chop them up and turn them into 3 or 4 good hitting games. Effort there was outstanding by Repko.
And the Rangers had 12 runs in the first game of that series against Toronto. Would love to have saved some of those.
Well, Elvis already a couple of hits, both infield hits, and he scored the first Ranger run. 7 for 11 tonight with runners in scoring position to increase what's already the best average in the American League. Well, that kind of messes up the symmetry.
Just ruined it.
But
well, no, maybe we're starting. Maybe it'll be 3 3s and then 3 4s. Maybe the symmetry is still intact.
Miharis knocks down the hard shot, can't pick it up to make a play. Everybody's safe, and the bases are loaded for Josh Hamilton.
Wow. This won't end.
And now every Ranger has scored, many of them twice. Ron Gardenhire now about to make his second pitching change, as Miharis has gone once through the lineup and had even less success than Blackburn did. So Chuck James, another left-hander out of the bullpen, will be the third Minnesota pitcher of this game. And all he's got to deal with is 4 runs in, 1 out, the bases loaded, and Josh Hamilton will be at the plate. Michael Young, 386 runners in scoring position. The Ranger record is held by Ian Kinsler, 413 in 2008. Well, welcome to the game, Chuck James. You've got the bases loaded. 4 runs already in, 1 out, and Josh Hamilton. Top 5 in Ranger history. You had Kinsler, Michael Young 2 years ago, Julio Franco, 407 and 89, Mike Hargrove in 74, and Larry Parrish in 86. There's your top 5. Well, James out in front of Josh, 0-2. Hamilton RBI doubles each of his first 2 trips, scored after each. And one of only 2 men retired by Miharis with a ground out to end the 3rd. Rangers' highest scoring game this year, 15, July 1st against the Marlins. Most hits in a game, 20, May 30th at Tampa Bay. They're already at 13 at 16 through 3 1/3 tonight. And Repko makes the catch out in center field, plenty deep to bring home yet another run as Andy Chavez makes it 14-1, and another run batted in for Hamilton, his 3rd of the night. Gives Josh 58 for the year. Michael Young has driven in 3 on a 3-for-3 night. 2-run homer in the first, RBI single in the second, and he began all this in the 4th with a single off of Miharis. 4 for 4 Friday, scored 4 runs. 3 days later, he's already 3 for 3. Has scored 2 and driven in 3. Andrews was ruled to have reached on an error by Mijares. So the Twins have not helped their cause very much. 3 errors, 1 each in the second, third, and the fourth. This is including tonight. This is 17 3-hit games for Michael.
Boston's got 3 guys on the list.
One ball and 2 strikes. Kinsler is second, Elvis at first. 5 Rangers have already scored 2 runs in this game. Three in each of the first 3, 5 so far here in the fourth. And it is 2-2. In that Angels-Indians game, Scott Downs now out of the bullpen after the starter Dan Herron allowed only a first inning run, 3 hits into the bottom of the 8th. 2-1 Angels. And still 2-2 here for Michael. All the Twins have is 1 unearned run on 3 hits in the first 4 innings against Derek Holland, beneficiary of all this offense. Tomahawk shot coming in to make the catch this time is Plouffe. After his earlier misplay, he ends the inning. But the Rangers come up with 5 more runs, 5 more hits, another error, and it's 14-1. And boy, Steve Busby, you bring a whole lot more runs than that McLemore guy. He couldn't get anything going.
I'm used to giving him up. Matt's not.
Things are balancing out for you then.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Just an amazing offensive show.
What shutout? Yeah,
exactly.
That's a thing of the past. Real quick.
Well, Derek Holland out for the 5th inning. He's still got to give 3 more outs to qualify for his 9th win of the year. And he's got Young, Plouffe, and Nishioka in the bottom 3rd of the order in the top half of the 5th.
You know, a lot of times, Buzz, you'll say, boy, the pitcher had to sit on the bench for a long time between that inning. He's had to do it almost every time. It's been a long inning every time for Derek in this game.
Yeah, if they're going to score in every inning and put up 14 at the end of 4, I'll wait all night if I have to.
Yes, so.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the old thing about not being able to pitch. The lead's too big. Yeah.
Let me try.
That's right. Maybe about 6 or 7. I'll run it out there and see what happens.
And what I wonder about is, both you guys, what's it like in the dugout when a game like this gets out of hand this early? I mean, is it just hot foot left and right, or is the manager there trying to tamp down the enthusiasm? What's it usually like? Shot up the middle, base hit for Delman Young.
I don't know that the manager, I ever saw a manager try to tamp it down. The managers I played for, Dave, didn't really manage the bench. You know, I mean, they were there, they were managing the game. The guys on the bench were expected to act like professionals or whatever, and the manager didn't say too much. If somebody got out of hand, a coach would walk down to him. But in a situation like this, everybody is they kind of have tunnel vision. Like, let's keep this thing going. This is what our job is right now. It's nothing. I don't think anything gets out of hand emotionally. I don't think it gets too high. But that bench over there might be a little different story.
Now, when does this come into play? Because it does at some point at every sport. Not wanting to appear to be unduly running up the score.
It's in play
already.
It's in play right now. But I think on the bench, as you said, Buzz, you act like a professional. There's protocol, there's etiquette, there's a way to act on the bench, and the players are very well aware of cameras. They know that if you're seen doing things that are out of line on the bench, it's going to be caught. Now, they're going to have a good time, but they understand over 162 games. You can have a game like this in your favor. You might come out tomorrow night and have one in the other team's favor. So I think you maintain the right attitude on the bench. I don't think that's ever a problem.
Well, Trevor Plouffe strikes out. Third strikeout for Holland, first since the first inning.
I'm not sure, Dave. I'm not sure running up the score is really a consideration. You don't try and go, say, first to third on a questionable play. You don't try and steal. But as far as guys swinging the bat, you go up there and try to bury them.
You keep swinging.
Yep. You go up there and get as many hits as possible, because you know very good and well, like Tom said, you're going to come out one night and you're going to hit 3 rockets right at somebody and be shut out like the Rangers were last night, where you just have a tough night.
Yeah, it's a team game, but it's still played by individuals who have individual things to be concerned about. So you're not going to go up and give up an at bat. The third base coach may not score you from second on a hard hit base hit to the outfield. He may not try to score you on a shallow fly ball from third base. But at the same time, you don't have to back off trying to hit the ball because you're ahead in the game. I mean, the other team doesn't win any rights because they're getting their butts whipped in the game.
And in fact, wouldn't that almost be even more insulting? I mean, if you completely appear to almost be taking pity on another team, I mean, you can't let it get to that point.
No,
right?
and
no matter how high the score may mount.
The fans paid money to see the game. They're not worried about baseball etiquette or what the score is. They want to see their team play as well as they can and play as hard as they can. So I think you play as hard as you can without trying to rub it in, and they know how to do that.
Tom, you were in Baltimore, right, for the 30-run game a few years ago.
Yeah.
But that one got that ridiculous late, right?
Yeah, I'm not sure what the score was like after 6 innings. I think it was something like 5-2 maybe.
Davis comes in and makes a nice catch on the slow roller and throw to retired Ishioka.
Yeah, that wasn't just a game that was out of hand from the first inning on. That was actually a pretty normal game until the later innings, and then it just happened so fast there was really not a whole lot you could do about it. The amazing thing about that game was that was the first game of a doubleheader. There was still another game to be played after that. That felt like a close game. I think it was 9-2.
Somehow that gets lost in the legend.
Yeah.
Well, 2 outs, Young now at second. Here is Repko, who has struck out and popped to second.
I guess baseball being the way it is, it's surprising it wasn't a 1-0 game and you get shut out in the second game of the doubleheader. You know,
right?
Baseball's strange like that.
Well, do you remember the highest run total you had scored for you during?
For me?
For you in any game?
Yeah. As a matter of fact, it was against the Twins, the second game of the '74 season. I think we scored 24.
Jeez.
and I needed most of them.
Did you go 5? Did you go 5?
I went 5, yeah. And I think I got out after 5, after giving up 6.
Derek Holland decides to eat that one rather than risk throwing it away.
I don't think he had a good grip on it. He got it in the tip of his glove, knew he wasn't going to be able to throw it accurately, and hung on to it.
Infield hit for Repko.
Let's see where this ball hits his glove. Yep, never had a grip on it. In which case he did the right thing.
So now 5 hits allowed by Holland. Still only 1 run, and that was by Casilla after his leadoff hit in the 4th. Unearned because of an error on a throw from Holland to Andrews at second base, which Elvis didn't make the play on. First time up, he flied to center.
Chuck Morgan's doing whatever he can to get the people to stop doing the wave.
Wow, any children doing the wave will be sold to the circus?
Well, I think Chuck feels like the wave has run its course.
A little harsh, but apparently that's what it takes to stamp out this menace.
This menace.
That's, I believe, verse 2. This season. Subscribe to MLB.tv today to see every Rangers game live or on demand on your computer and your favorite devices. Visit TexasRangers.com to order and get more details. MLB.tv, baseball everywhere. Tonight, runs everywhere. Ranger 5th. Chuck James, 3rd Minnesota pitcher. Cruz, Davis, and Napoli. And Cruz tonight has singled, fly to center, and doubled and scored the second of the Rangers 5 they put up in the 4th. All those runs charged to Mijares. 2/3 of an inning, 5 runs, one of which was under, and on 5 hits. 1 walk, which was intentional. And another base hit, hard hit to left field. Cruz has a 3-hit night. Ron Gardenhire is segregating himself now from the rest of that dugout. Have you ever seen that? Maybe he just doesn't want to have the players hear what may come out of his mind.
I don't think he wants to catch the virus that all his players had tonight.
Well, that is 17 base hits, and we are only in the 5th inning. Chris Davis has hit it hard a couple times. Lined to third first time up, reached on it air by Nishioka, triggering the 3-run third. And last time up, he popped to third. So 0 for 3, but with a run scored. And again, every Ranger has already scored at least 1 run. Moreland coming home in the 4th inning made that unanimous picture. So now 1-2 to Davis. Napoli will be next. At Cleveland, Indians batting bottom of the 9th against Jordan Walden, trying to nail down a 2-1 come from behind victory for the Angels. And keep them within 3 of the Rangers in the division. Top of the 4th at Yankee Stadium. Now 3-1 New York over Seattle. Loses the 15 straight. And in a few minutes it'll be Tampa Bay underway at Oakland. Two balls and 2 strikes. And a pop up with Valencia over for a look, but well back out of play. Fifth most hits already in a game this year, and only 3 from the season high from May 30th against Tampa Bay. Chuck James has come in throwing strikes, though. 19 pitches, 15 of them for strikes. But now 3-2 to Chris Davis. That is the first strikeout of a Ranger batter tonight. So 1 gone. Here's Mike Napoli, who has singled, then walked intentionally and scored twice. Buzz, Tom and I have had this discussion. We've talked with some other people about it, and it's about catcher's ERA. Napoli's is so outstanding. 2.37 before tonight. As a pitcher, what does that stat mean to you?
Honestly, not much. And that's not. I'm not trying to be derogatory toward Knapp or anything else, but so much of that is circumstance as to how guys are throwing when you happen to catch them. Unless you're the everyday catcher, which neither Torrealba nor Napoli happens to be. That really is circumstance. And Knapp doesn't catch one particular pitcher all the time, and neither does Torrealba. So they're switching back and forth, catching different guys, and. I think in their own right, they all have their strong suit behind the plate. And I think one of Mike's strong suits is that he handles younger pitchers extremely well. He knows how to get them to focus.
Pretty good bat, too.
He doesn't swing the bat bad either. You're right about that. They're both pretty good defensive catchers. Napoli's extremely good at blocking balls in the dirt, as you would expect somebody that played under Mike Scioscia. He's technically very sound, I think. But I think he handles young pitchers especially well.
Oh, he's 2 for 3 tonight. 2 on, 1 out here in the Ranger 5th for Mitch Moreland.
It looks like in this game with Derek, Buzz, I'm not sure if you would say the same thing. It looks like he's been making Derek throw his curveball. You know, it hasn't been a great curveball for him tonight, but it's like he's saying, okay, look, we got a big lead. You're going to have off-speed pitches. Keeps calling it. I guess for a young pitcher, that's a good thing, right?
Yeah, it's really important, I think, Tom, and that's part of handling young pitchers well. Mike Napoli is sitting back there trying to teach Derek Holland the art of setting hitters up, the art of working within yourself and using the tools that you have on that given night.
Right.
And I think one thing that Mike said a couple of starts ago that he worked with Derek Holland is, Derek, don't shake me off. Trust me. And if you feel adamantly we ought to throw something else, call time, we'll talk about it. But he said, for the most part, trust me, don't think about all these things that have been taking you away, taking your focus away.
Rocket to right and a base hit for Mitch Moreland. He's got a 2-hit night, and boy, again, the Rangers have loaded the bases.
I guess that, for a young pitcher, Buzz, that's a good thing. I didn't think about that, but if the catcher, you have confidence in the catcher and he's calling a good game, and you never have to worry and think about what the pitch is, and you just look, that does make it easier.
Well, and the whole thing, Tom, I think too is that Mike Napoli wants to have whoever's out there, but especially Derek Holland, committed to the pitch that he's going to throw. And if you don't try and think along and get your mind wandering all over the place, whatever Mike calls is what you're going to throw, and you're going to be 100% committed to it and go at it. It makes it a little bit easier.
Sure.
So bases loaded for Chavez with 1 out.
Yeah, I guess that would explain earlier in the game with a lead when Derek threw that 2-1 curveball.
Right. Yeah.
It wasn't a curveball that Napoli had called.
That's right. That's right. Nobody was more surprised than Nap.
Now, Buzz,
it's a good thing he didn't call for a fastball.
Yeah.
And I mean, call for a curveball and got a fastball.
Might have buzzed the umpire.
Yeah, exactly.
Nolan Wright had a thought on this that I hadn't heard from everybody else, and that was when he's evaluating catchers, he watches to see if they call pitches that they as hitters have a hard time with, but not necessarily the hitter in that situation at the plate.
Yeah. And you hear that, Dave, I think, as a common knock on catchers that are not known for calling a good game. It's that the only game that he calls is one he can't hit as a catcher. And that's the common statement for a guy who's just terrible at calling games. I don't think you hear that much anymore. All the scouting reports, there's really no reason to do that anymore.
No. Yeah, I think you hear both your Veet and Mike say they're following the scouting report.
Right.
And you have a pretty extensive scouting report now, so if the manager and the pitching coach know what that scouting report is, and if you're not following it, you're probably going to hear from both of them.
Yeah, exactly. And then it becomes a matter of execution. And scouting reports don't tell you what to throw and when to throw it. They tell you a hitter's tendencies at that particular time of the season, and then you have to apply your own strengths and weaknesses to those tendencies.
Yeah, good point.
2-2 pitch to Chavez. Another base hit. And the parade continues. Cruz scores. Napoli scores. It is 16-1. And this is now the highest scoring game all year for the Rangers. They're going to drop from exhaustion here pretty quickly. Chavez joins the 3-hit club. 3 RBIs, now up to 18.
Just one of those games. Everything the Rangers hit is falling in. They've hit a lot of balls hard. They've hit some softly. They've had help from 3 errors. It's just one of those crazy games.
Rangers now 9 for 15 with runners in scoring position. And we're going to see already their third of 4 lefty relievers, Phil Dumatre, when we come back. High 20 hits equals a season high for the Rangers. All this with still only one out in the 5th inning. And the 4th Twins pitcher is another lefty out of their bullpen, Phil Dumatre. 1 year after Colby Lewis at Bakersfield Junior College. Out in 2000. Signed as a free agent by the Twins. He was a 1st-round pick by the Red Sox, 22nd overall in 1997. But went the college route. And now comes on here to face Ian Kinsler, having a typically productive night on this night. He is grounded to third, doubled and scored, hit a 3-run homer and an RBI single. All that through 4 innings. He has batted once per inning. And another base hit through the hole.
There's your answer right there, Dave.
Yep. Moreland held at third base.
If this is a 2-1 game, 6-1 game, Dave Anderson's pretty aggressive at third. He might have waved Mitch around, but he held him up right off the bat there.
So Kinsler, the first Ranger to 4 hits tonight, might have some company coming up behind him as again the bases are loaded.
Ron Gardenhire's thinking, okay, just get this one over with.
Yeah.
Let this thing end.
Yeah.
Most teams have a game or two. Some teams more than that go against you in the course of a season. There's not much you can do to stop it tonight.
Elvis has a couple of infield hits, a ground out, and last time up reached on an error by Mijares on the last pitch he threw. Meanwhile, ready for some good news from Cleveland. Indians have a run and are still batting in the bottom of the 9th. They've tied that game with the Angels at 2. And they have chased Jordan Walden after a blown save, and Isanori Takahashi is now coming in for the Angels. And he comes in with the bases loaded, 1 out in the 2-2 game. So the Indians trying to win that one in walk-off fashion, as the Rangers keep piling up season highs here against the Twins. Base hit again. 2 will score as it gets past Repko. Moreland and Chavez come home. Kinsler to third, Andrews to second. 18-1 Texas.
Say it, but this has the feel of that game in Baltimore.
You saying this could get to 30 before everybody drops in exhaustion?
No, I'm not saying that, but it doesn't feel like there's an end in sight. I'll say it that way.
Well, that is scored as a single for Elvis, and an E8 will be charged to Repko out in center field.
There's 6 guys in the lineup with at least 2 RBIs. 3 with 3, and Ian has 4.
Well, now they're changing that to a double for Elvis.
Okay.
2-run double. Hamilton sends that one slicing into the seats. Josh tonight RBI doubles each of his first 2 trips, scored after each. He was one of the 2 outs recorded by Mijares. And then as the first batter James faced, he delivered a sacrifice fly. So he's driven in 3 runs tonight, up to 58 now for the year. Two more in scoring position, still with 1 out. 18 runs, at least 3 per inning. Look at that. 1 unearned run against Derek Holland through 5 for the Twins. Left field. Young coming in. And Kinsler stays put at third. Rangers again will bat around here. Michael Young will be the 9th to bat. First against James and now Dumatre here in the bottom of the 5th. Phil Dumatre all last year with the AAA Toledo in the Tigers system. Four and 1 at 8 starts. Placed on the temporary inactive list in May. And signed with the LG Twins of the Korea Baseball Organization. One of only 2 non-Korean players on that team, the only American. And the Indians have pulled it off.
Nice going, Tribe. Appreciate the help.
How about that? 2-run bottom of the 9th. They score 1 in the first off of Dan Herron. And then 2 off the bullpen and knock off the Angels 3-2. Tony Sipp the winner, Jordan Walden the loser. And this American League West will be back to a 4-game pad for the Rangers over the Angels. I'm assuming, of course, they can hang on to this lead. Hope I'm not speaking too soon.
I do too. I'd hate to see the last 4 innings if you are.
Ranger bullpen hopes you're not speaking too soon also. And so does Derek Holland.
Derek's had about a half an hour between every inning.
Oakland already trailing 1-0 Tampa Bay, top of the 1st. Michael checks his swing, says Mike Everett. Bottom of the 4th at Yankee Stadium. 5-1 New York over Seattle, looking at 16 straight losses.
Oh, boy.
Seattle was at 500 when this losing streak began.
Yep.
They were in the race.
Went from a buyer to a seller in a hurry.
3-2. Nobody has pitched well for Minnesota tonight. The starter Blackburn gone after 2 2/3, 9 runs, 11 hits. 3 of them were unearned. Miharis, 5 runs, 5 hits, 2/3 of an inning, 1 unearned. James in an inning. Charged with all these runs. Dumatre comes in and strikes out Michael Young. The Rangers bat around again. 4 more runs, 6 more hits. Nice job, Steve Busby.
Thank you, gentlemen. That's the longest I've ever been on with you. That's great.
Next time we will expect you to build on this performance.
Yeah. Okay.
Don't let him get lost in the shuffle. Through 5 innings, he has allowed only 1 unearned run on 5 base hits, and he's come up with 3 strikeouts. Key double play ball there. And the beneficiary of this season high offensive output as well. 18 runs, 22 hits, both highs for the Rangers. Holland about to throw his 80th pitch out for the 6th inning. He's not walked a batter. And he's got Mauer, Kadire, and Kubel here in the 6th with a couple of defensive changes for the Rangers behind him.
I think that's the key. What you want to see. Omar Quintanilla at second base. No walks. David Murphy in right field.
Left field, actually. And Murphy going back at the edge of the track to retire Mauer, who is 0 for 3. Check in with Jim Knox.
All right, thanks, Dave. With Ben Crawford, who plays Sky Masterson in the hit play going on at the Fair Park Music Hall. That is Guys and Dolls. Also the toughest guy in the ballpark with the black sports code here. Sang the national anthem. So what's tougher, singing the national anthem solo or playing lead in a hit play?
Definitely singing the national anthem. Once I got out there's a little bit of an echo, and it took a lot of focus and concentration, that's for sure.
All right, that is a great play going on right now. Your favorite song in the play, what is it? And give us a quick sample.
All right, well, definitely it's got to be Luck Be a Lady. It goes a little like this. Luck be a lady tonight. Luck be a lady tonight. Luck if you've ever been a lady to begin with. Luck be a lady tonight.
Very good. Way to go. All right, that's going on Fair Park Music Hall through Sunday. Thanks, Ben.
Yeah,
good seeing you. Thanks.
Thank you.
Wait a minute, Jim. We got a little time here. How about some harmony?
Hey, you don't want to hear me, Dave. Believe me, I'll bring the show down.
It's 18-1. I do want to hear you. 2-1 to Kadire. With Kubel in the on-deck circle. And Derek will try to retire him for the first time. He reached on an errand single. This is the 11th time for the Rangers to have as many as 22 hits in a game. It is the 4th most hits in Rangers franchise history. And Kadire strikes out. There's number 4 for Derek. Well, we've said this, Tom, after every inning. Boy, he's had a long wait. Rangers put up all those runs.
Yep, and he's handled it well. He's come out throwing strikes, and that's the key. There's a good breaking ball. He's had a good fastball tonight. Nice to see the slider right there to strike out Kadire. Derek's gotten his team back in the dugout quickly.
Strike 1 to the DH Kubel.
He's still throwing hard. Last fastball, 95 miles an hour. Slider for a strike. 62 strikes, only 26 balls. Just what you want to see in this kind of a game. Your pitcher throwing a lot of strikes.
And this might be Holland's last inning. There's some activity now in the Ranger bullpen. Derek about to throw his 90th pitch.
Looks like Scott Feldman be a great chance to get Scott some more work.
Unassisted, Mitch Moreland. And for Derek Holland, his 3rd 1-2-3 inning on just 11 pitches.
3 outs, Mitch. That'll get him fined in the Kangaroo Court.
$1,000 at dinner for two to Sonic Drive-In. Tonight, the Rangers are hitting for Sue Pearson from Georgetown. If a Ranger hits a grand slam during this inning, Sue Pearson from Georgetown wins $25,000. You could register at any participating Sonic restaurant. And in the Rangers' sixth, Cruz, Davis, and Napoli. Against the fourth Minnesota pitcher of the night, third straight lefty reliever Phil Dumatre, who came in and allowed a single to Kinsler, a two-run double to Andrews, and then got Hamilton to fly out and struck out Michael Young to end the 4-run, 6-hit Ranger fifth. Nelly tonight, two singles, a double, and has scored twice. Kinsler already a 4-hit night. Andrews 3 hits. Young is already out of the game, 3 for 5. Scored twice, drove in 3. Cruz a chance at 4 hits. Chavez has 3. Napoli and Moreland 2 each. And Josh Hamilton 2 for 4, 2 runs, 3 runs batted in before he was lifted for Murphy. Cruz just off that pitch, and it's still 2-2. Yankees pouring it on Seattle. It's now 8-1 New York. Mariners batting top of the 5th. If you didn't hear earlier, the Angels lost 3-2 at Cleveland. The Indians coming up with 2 in the bottom of the 9th to beat Jordan Walden. Game of interest to the Twins in the Central. It's the White Sox 5 and the Tigers 3, top of the 7th in Chicago. Tigers trying not to see their game over the Indians, or their lead over the Indians, cut to just 1 game. White Sox 4.5 behind Detroit in 3rd place as Cruz rolls that one to Danny Valencia. And after the early trouble, Dumatre is now retired 3 straight. It's only the second time in this game that as many as 3 straight Rangers have been sat down. Chris Davis, first time up, lined it hard right to Valencia at third, reached on an error by Nishioka, leading off the 3rd inning and scored. Since then, he's popped to third and struck out.
Yeah, Chris needs a base hit right here. A Ranger without a hit. Every time you watch the scoreboard, you say to yourself, well, I don't know how Cleveland's going to hang in there. They keep hanging in there, though. Looks like the White Sox and the Tigers have a more veteran team, better teams, but still Cleveland hanging in there. The Tigers are losing. The Indians have won. White Sox are winning, though. I still think the White Sox are going to be there in September.
Well, when Detroit was in here earlier, they look, to me, and I'm not sure if you agreed or not, they look like if they had everybody available, were the best team in the division. That may not be the case as things turn out.
Well, no, I think they've got a good looking team. They've got some veteran hitters in the middle of their lineup. Their starting pitching is pretty good with Verlander at the top of the rotation. End of their bullpen with Valverde and Benoit is pretty strong. Well, they should be a contender. They're going to be really disappointed if they're not. The White Sox, they just need some of their players to play the way that they have in the past. Alexi Rios hasn't done anything this year.
Davis strikes out for the second straight time. Second strikeout by Dumontre. And Mike Napoli will bat. This may be the first scoreless inning for the Rangers. Dumontre, a left-handed pitcher who does just about everything else right-handed. And as we said, out of Bakersfield Junior College, 1 year behind Colby Lewis. Not drafted out of Ridgeview High School in Bakersfield, but at the JUCO level, he added 12 miles an hour of velocity to his fastball, became a first-round pick by Boston in 2000. Since then, he has bounced around a little bit. Reds, Pirates, Tigers, and now the Twins organizations.
Yeah, unless he's lost some of that 12 miles per hour that he's gained, he must have been having a hard time breaking 80 miles an hour before he added that 12. He's right around 90 now. Man, hit some ropes, Mike.
Mike Napoli joins the 3-hit club. He has already scored 3 times, including after his intentional walk. 22 hits through 5 innings, second most in the majors since 1974. Toronto, June 26th of 1978. How about that? So an historic first 5 innings for the Rangers tonight. They are now at 23 hits, including 2 the last 2 times up for Mitch Moreland. A 2-run double in the 4th and a single in the 5th. He scored after each. First 2 trips he grounded out.
The little boy down here in front of us before the game, Dave, he came up to me and he said, "Hey, Tag, who do you pick for the Rangers to be the best hitter tonight?" And so I said Mitch Moreland, and Mitch has had a pretty good night. I said, "Who do you like?" He goes, "Mike Napoli." So I just looked down there after Napoli got that line drive, and he's giving me 2 thumbs up. He hasn't forgotten.
He hasn't forgotten, and he is not likely to forget, especially if Mike is in there for one more hit. Neither of you had Kinsler, though, huh? There he is.
There's our guy right there.
Accepting his accolades. Wow, did he also put some money on something back there?
No. We didn't put any money on it. I had to tell him we're on TV.
Looks like there's some money changing hands with the guy who also had the mistake to bet with him behind him.
No money's coming up here, though, that's for sure.
Second team since 1923 plus runs each of the first 5 innings. The A's did it on the September 29th, 1991 against the Rangers. And that ball gets behind Mauer and going to be ruled to, I think, have hit Moreland. Napoli now down at second base with 2 outs.
I think it was ball 4, wasn't it?
Well, the scoreboard had 3 and 1, but it must have been 3 and 2.
Yeah,
I didn't think this hit him. That's ball 4.
Ball's outside.
All right, so it was 3 and 2. So, chance now for Chavez to pick up his 4th hit. Last time up, a 2-run single. Before that, an RBI infield single. Singled his first time up. Scored on the throwing error by Young. 3 for 4, 3 runs. And his 16th, 17th, and 18th runs batted in.
I bet you Joe Mauer's thrilled to be behind the plate tonight.
How much longer is Joe Mauer going to be behind the plate?
Well, if he's had trouble with his legs, I wouldn't think much longer.
The Rangers batted around in the 4th and 5th. So it's 7 to the plate in the 1st and 2nd. Chavez, the 5th Ranger hitter here in the 6th inning. Rangers have scored so many runs that the West Coast games now are all underway. Colorado nothing in their half of the 1st. Dodgers batting bottom of the 1st at Dodger Stadium. Tampa Bay batting in the 2nd at Oakland, leading 1-0. Chavez reaches out, and that is picked up fair by Mauer, and the throw just in time for the out at first base. And the Rangers thus are held scoreless for the 1st inning out of their 6 tonight. 18-1 as we head to the 7th. All on Fox Sports Southwest is brought to you by your Texas Ford dealers. Check out the Ford F-150 and drive one. Ford is the best in Texas. And by Southwest Airlines' new Rapid Rewards, unlimited reward seats and no blackout days. 7th inning, Dave Barnett along with Tom Grieve. It's 18-1, and Derek Collins' night is done. 6 innings, 1 unearned run, 5 hits, struck out 4, did not walk a batter, and he gives way to Scott Feldman.
That was another first, Dave. A girl just came to the bottom of our booth and said, "Hey, Tag, you got any cookies?" So I gave her half a little canister of cake balls, and she brought them back to the guys that she's with, and they're all eating the cake balls now. And they looked up and they all gave thumbs up.
Just happy they're still sticking around. This is a crowd of 35,573 enjoying this, in many ways, record Ranger runaway to this point anyway. So Scott Feldman, who returned from the 60-day disabled list with a perfect 9th inning on Friday, capping out the Rangers' 12-2 victory over the Blue Jays. And Danny Valencia with the leadoff hit here in the 7th inning.
Yep, and there they are. They've all enjoyed our maple walnut cake balls. Did you see her lips? These are so good. So all you people out there that hear us talk about food, this is why we talk about it, because that's how good it is. Fans have never had anything. Oh, he's so-so on it. He might not like maple walnut that much. She does, though. Want another one? Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That's a winner. 2-1 in favor. Delman Young, the batter. 2 balls and no strikes. He has grounded into a 5-4-3 double play and singled. Scott Feldman looking about as happy and relieved as we've seen him, well, in years after his return and after pitching so effectively on Friday night. Not only are they happy eaters, they're polite, and they're going to return the Tupperware as all polite folks do. Fritz Dykert handling the handoff. And a base hit for Delman Young. That will send Valencia to third base. And Young ends up at second with a double.
Well, that's funny.
Good for you, spreading the wealth up here.
She said, those were amazing. So I asked her, how do they go with beer? And this is what she did. How do they go with beer?
That
amazing.
Well.
Oh, you gotta love it. After all, it is 18-1. So people are going, just talk about baseball. Hey, we've talked a lot of baseball. What else can you talk about? It's 18-1.
Well, here's something to talk about as Trevor Plouffe steps up 0 for 2. More Ranger history being made tonight. The Rangers are just the 3rd team in the modern era, 1900 on, to score 3 runs or more in each of the first 5 innings of a game. So, how about that?
David, I should give credit. Those cake balls were from Becky and Tim Farrell from Bedford, Texas. Becky sends up cake balls at least once every homestand. So, Becky, we spread the wealth. Your cake balls have been well received, not only by the people up here in our television booth, but also by the fans. Nice going.
Little pop-up. And Moreland in front of Quintanilla. Jim Knox has a special guest.
Okay, couldn't help but to recognize Miss Arlington in the stands tonight. This is Amanda, and you compete in the Miss Texas contest. You're about a lot of Miss Arlington fans here. You got to meet a lot of interesting people this past year. Who's the most interesting one you ever met?
Definitely C.J. Wilson.
C.J. Wilson, Ranger pitcher. Of course, she's a big-time Ranger fan. You also, there's a reason for this, correct?
Yes, I helped out with his children's charity a couple of times, and that was a lot of fun, and that's why I loved meeting him.
There we go. Okay, keep up the good work. Congratulations. You thought competing was tough. How about trying to talk in front of these guys, huh? All right, Dave.
Yeah, that's definitely a valid description of C.J. Wilson. Interesting.
And she threw out the first pitch and threw a strike.
Yes, she did.
Did a nice job.
First pitch strike to Nishioka here, who is 0 for 2. And the historical notes just keep coming. 23 hits for the Rangers, second most in any Ranger game in history. The record is the 29 in the 32-run game against Baltimore. 18 runs, 23 hits. All the runs in the first 5 innings. And again, the Rangers just the 3rd team of the modern era to score 3 or more in each of the first 5 innings of a game. 3 exactly in the first, second, and third. 5 in the fourth, 4 in the 5th. Before Dumatre, the 4th Minnesota pitcher of the night, held the Rangers scoreless in the 6th, despite a 2-out single by Napoli and walk by Moreland. And now Feldman trying to keep it 18-1 out in front of Nishioka 0-2 after the leadoff single by Valencia and double by Young. Scott saying after his return Friday night, the knee is feeling 100%. He had microfracture surgery on his right knee November 3rd. Reinstated from the 60-day disabled list on July 14th. Right in the middle of the great run of pitching, so this is only the second chance for Feldman. Now the long man in the Ranger bullpen to see any action. 12-2 and now 18-1. Those guys finally get a chance to get in. Just 2 years ago, the Ranger pitcher of the year and a 17-game winner. Davis bobbles in, and that will be his second error. And a run comes home. Valencia scores, and it's 18-2. Nishioka will be credited with a run batted in, his 12th of the year.
Yeah, Chris just got ahead of himself a little bit here, trying to catch it and throw it a little too quickly, and didn't catch it.
So still 1 out. First and second for Repko, who was struck out, popped up, and reached on an infield single. Minnesota was playing very well until the Tigers came in over the weekend. Another chance for Davis. And he gets the out at second, not quite. The Rangers' second 5-4-3 double play of the night. As Repko beats it out. And with 2 outs now, Young at third, Repko aboard for Casilla. And Alexei's got a hit and scored their first run back in the 4th inning. Pretty close. Mike Everett clearly with the right call at first base. And the first pitch pop up. Napoli there long with Davis, who makes the catch right in front of the Twins dugout. Minnesota comes up with their second run of the game. 2 hits, an error, 2 men left. Stretch time 18-2. youth baseball leagues in your community. If you'd like to learn more about Chevy youth baseball programs, go to youthsportswire.com. Lots of defensive changes for Ron Gardenhire and the Twins here in the bottom of the 7th inning. First of all, their 5th pitcher of the night is on, and he is right-hander Alex Burnett, who will face the top of the order, Kinsler, Andrews, and Murphy. Ian looking for his 5th hit. Doubled and scored in the 2nd after a first inning ground out, 3-run homer in the 3rd, RBI single in the 4th, and a single in the 5th. Phil Dumatre went an inning and 2/3, no runs, 3 hits. Some inherited runners scored on him. He struck out 2, walked 1. Oh, there's Clay Armstrong of Ranger TV fame, taking in this 18-2 contest as Kinsler flies out to Repko, who is still in center field. Michael Kadire has moved from first base to right field. Trevor Plouffe has moved from right to left. Joe Mauer from catcher to first. And Drew Butera replaces Mauer behind the plate. There they all are. One out, and here's Elvis, who has a couple of infield hits and a 2-run double. Scored the first Ranger run, first of their 3 in the first inning. Boy, was there more where that came from. Nick Blackburn, the starter, gone after 2 2/3, 9 runs, 3 unearned. His worst start of the year, 11 hits, no strikeouts or walks. Since then, a parade of relief pitches. Jose Mijares, 2/3 of an inning, 5 runs, 1 unearned on 5 hits and a walk. Chuck James an inning, 4 runs, 4 hits. Dumatre an inning and 2/3. And now Burnett here in the 7th. It's just the first of 4 between these two. Tomorrow night, C.J. Wilson against Carl Pavano. 7 o'clock again here in Fox Sports Southwest, as Andrews works a walk. Only the 3rd walk involved in this game for Ranger hitters. And let's check in with our Fox Sports Southwest studio. Time for a McDonald's Dollar Drink game break. Yeah, and as soon as that score went up on the left field out-of-town scoreboard, those who saw it here reacted with glee, because that means the Rangers will pick up a game on the Angels and be 4 games on top in the West.
They went into the break 1 game up, and they will have added 3 games in a short period of time.
Oh, 2 to Murphy, batting for the first time after taking over left for Hamilton in the 6th. This will be the 11th straight series opening win for the Rangers. New single season club record. 10 already was the record. It'll be 10 straight days leading by at least 3 games in the West. They will improve to 16-5 in the month of July. Boston leading Kansas City 1-0, top of the 5th. The only team better in the league. They are 16-3. As Murphy strikes out on a foul tip, Butera hangs on. 2 outs in the Rangers' 7th. And that will bring up Omar Quintanilla, who has gotten into a game for just the 2nd time on the roster after Andres Blanco went on the disabled list. And Omar 0 for 2. But has driven it around and scored a couple. Many years with the Colorado Rockies after a great career at UT. Part of a national championship 2002 team with Houston Street. Several others who have gone on to Major League Baseball. Omar talking before the game about staying ready when the guy in his position never knows when he's going to come in or if. He says still just a matter of routine. Between innings, he would get up, loosen up in the runway leading down to the dugout. Sends this one to deep center field. It is off the glove of Repko and off the wall. Andrews will score. Quintanilla at third, and it's 19-2.
Well, that was a great try by Repko in center field. That was a line shot right over his head. He didn't have a lot of time to react to it, and he sprinted to the track and went right into the wall. The ball went off the top of his glove. He almost made a great catch. Nice try. A well hit ball by Quintanilla. Gets a high fastball and puts a charge in it.
RBI triple for Omar. And here is Cruz looking for his fourth hit. That's how close it was to a circus catch out there by Repko.
Great try.
19 runs, 24 hits now for the Rangers. Make it 25 hits. Make it 20-2. As Cruz digs for second, he's got an RBI double and a 4-hit night. I bet that group, I bet they've lost 5 pounds apiece running off all these runs. 2 more here in the 7th with 2 outs. Quintanilla's triple followed by this Cruz double in his 66th run batted in.
Yeah, amazingly, with 20 runs, Nelly's got 4 hits. That's the first RBI he's got.
Cruz grounds it hard, but right at Nishioka. So 2 more runs, 2 hits, 1 man left. We go to the 8th. It's now 20-2. Defensive gems for the Rangers. Hamilton Hanging on to that drive by Trevor Plouffe up against the left field wall. Nishioka victimized on the fine running catch and right by Cruz. The very next batter back in the third inning. And the Rangers' third pitcher of the night on for the eighth inning is the 41-year-old from Waco, Arthur Rhodes. And he'll face Mauer, Kadire, and Kubel. Arthur on for the 30th time this year, 3-4, a 409 earned run average. Pitched on Friday, and hitting into third, gave up a home run to J.P. Arencibia, who didn't in that Toronto series. It was Arthur's first action in 18 days since the 4th of July. And the only run he has allowed in his last 10 appearances, covering 8 1/3. Joe Mauer tonight 0 for 3. First at catcher, and then taking over at first base in the last half inning. Left field, Murphy is there for the out. Mauer is 0 for 4. Check in again with Jim Knox.
All right, Dave, real quick time for the Progressive fan of the game. It has to be Taylor Helt. She come all the way from Missouri for vacation, loves the Rangers, could have gone to Disney World, but here at the ballpark, who's your favorite player, Taylor?
Josh Hamilton.
There we go. Here's the bag of goodies. Congratulations. Anything else you like to say?
Let's score another 20 runs. I want to be here all night.
Another 20. Why not? Let's do it. All right, Taylor. Congratulations. Way to go, guys.
Well, we'll let you come up and announce those 20 runs if you want.
If you're so interested in those 20 more runs, come on up here, young lady. Youthful enthusiasm. Here is Kadire. 1 for 3. He got the first of 7 Minnesota hits back in the second inning. He's grounded into a double play and struck out since then. The rest of the series, as we said, C.J. Wilson, 10-4. ERA down to 2.94 after his sterling outing. The hard luck loss Thursday at Anaheim, 1-0 on the unearned run. A 2-hitter. He faces Carl Pavano, 6-7 tomorrow night at 7. Wednesday night, Colby Lewis, 10-7. Against 7-8, Brian Dunsing, a lefty. And the series and the season series will conclude Thursday again at 7 here on Fox Sports Southwest. Matt Harrison at 8-7. Scott Baker pitching extremely well, 8-5. His ERA down to 2.88. That is the matchup on Thursday.
Yeah, Baker pitched a good game against the Rangers. More than one good game against the Rangers. But you're right, he has been pitching great baseball. It'd be tough to beat.
Rhodes' 3-2 pitch to Kadire. Fouled off again. Game still going. Colorado 1, the Dodgers 0. Top of the third at L.A. St. Louis 9, the Astros 5. Bottom of the 8th at Busch Stadium. Top of the 6th at Atlanta. Pittsburgh 3, the Braves 0. As Kadire takes the walk. First issued by Ranger pitching tonight. So our Nissan pitching matchup tomorrow again has C.J. Wilson going for his 11th victory and one of 3 10-game winners in the Ranger rotation against the veteran Carl Pavano. Rangers the first staff in baseball to have 3 10-game winners. And the first to have 5 8-game winners. And Derek Holland about to improve to 9-4 and get a career-high 9th win. Derek in 6 innings allowed only 1 unearned run on 5 hits, struck out 4 and did not walk a batter. Prove that you can sit in the dugout as run after run after run is scored for you inning after inning after inning and not lose your concentration and come out and Still roll up the outs before he gave way to Feldman in the 7th and Rhodes here in the 8th.
Yeah, I thought that was one of the strong points for Derek tonight, was his ability to block out the amount of runs that he had and come out and throw quality pitches and throw strikes and not walk a batter. Very positive.
Rhodes throws strike 2 here to Kubel. Other games still going. Boston 1, Kansas City 0, bottom of the 5th. New York 9, Seattle 2, bottom of the 7th at New York. Well hit to right field. Cruz looks up, and this one is in the upper porch. A 2-run blast by Jason Kubel, number 6 on the year.
That's a long one. When it goes in the upper deck that far towards center field, that's got to be a 445-ish, 450-ish shot. Now Josh hit one to the left of that and a couple of rows deeper. And it was one of the longer balls hit into the home run porch. You don't see many go into the porch that far to the left.
Well, on a pitch down the middle, that's what you're risking, even at a lefty-lefty matchup. And Arthur Rhodes had allowed lefties to be just 7 for 35 against him. They were hitting 200. Now it's 20-4. Cruz knew immediately where that one was headed. Up above the Budweiser sign right there, the lower left-hand corner of the porch.
That's a long one.
And Valencia sends that one off the wall in the left field corner. So with one out here in the 8th, 3 straight Twins reach. Kadire on their first walk, then the Kubel homer, and now a ringing double for Valencia's second hit. Mike Maddox will get more action up now, the Ranger bullpen. Meanwhile, Tom, let's update more history, shall we?
Sure.
We got a minute here. 25 hits, most by an American League team this year since Cleveland, April 18th of 2009, at 25 against the Yankees. 5th time in Ranger history to score 20 runs in a game. 4th time at home. Last time was April 2nd, 1998, as Tateyama gets up. Since last year, 2nd team in the majors with 20 runs in the game. The other, the Atlanta Braves. Oh, the Brewers. Milwaukee Brewers. Fritz Dykert has had a blizzard of numbers coming his way all night. And only 2 higher scoring games in Rangers history, both victimizing the Orioles.
And the fact that you see Tateyama doesn't have anything to do with Ron Washington worried about a 20-4 game. Just doesn't want Arthur Rhodes to have to throw too many pitches. He's getting people work in games where there's really not a big need to come in and perform. But at the same time, you might want Arthur to come in and get a left-hand hitter out tomorrow or the next day. You don't want him to throw 30 or 35 pitches if he has to struggle to get through this inning.
First at bat here for Butera, and it's 2-2. He's batting in the number 7 spot where Delmon Young went 2 for 3. Houston and the Cardinals now top of the 9th at Busch Stadium, 10-5 St. Louis. Tampa Bay 2, the A's 2, top of the 3rd in Oakland. Top of the 9th at Chicago, White Sox 6, Tigers 3. And the Texas High School Coaches All-Star Games football game tomorrow at 7:30, live on FoxSportsSouthwest.com. Re-airing on Fox Sports Southwest at 11 p.m. Butera hooks that one into the seats, and it's still 2-2. Bottom of the 7th in New York, now 9-2 Yankees over Seattle. Mariners looking at a 16-game losing streak there. Angels gave up 2 in the bottom of the 9th to fall at Cleveland 3-2. San Diego 5, Philadelphia 4, a final. And a little pop up, shallow right field. Cruz. And Rhodes gets the second out here in the 8th inning. And Trevor Plouffe, 0 for 3, will be the batter. White Sox hang on to that. They will be 3.5 behind the Tigers, and the Indians will be just 1 game back in the Central. And Minnesota will not have lost anything. They were 7 behind Detroit before. Tigers lose. No matter the final margin here, they will still find themselves 7 games back. But boy, Tom, again, when you think about where they were after 2 months, 17-37. Minneapolis Star-Tribune had a 5-part series already written on what was wrong with the Twins, and 7 back on July 25th. Even if they're going to be 8 under 500 now, but you're in the race, aren't you? Even if you have a few teams to climb over.
I think they have to feel like they're in the race. I mean, it's a long shot, but they just have to get their team healthy and start playing, continue to play good baseball. Who knows? No one ahead of them is really running away with it. Twin fans finally have a little something to cheer about here.
They have put together a 3-run 8th inning on an RBI double. Plouffe drives in his 14th run of the year. And it's 20-5. Arthur Rhodes putting another one right down the middle. And the 7th Minnesota batter here, the 8th inning, is Nishioka, and Michael Kadire may come on. How about this to pitch the 9th inning?
I love that. I wish you saw more of that. One of my wishes was always, it was never going to happen. I mean, it's not that far-fetched, though. Jose Canseco pitched for us. Was to see Pudge Rodriguez take off his stuff in the 9th inning and go out and be the closer and get the last out of a ball game. Just wanted to see how hard he could throw in a big league game.
What would you have guessed? Mid-90s?
I would say 95 to 98. Had to be, because no one had a better arm than he did, no matter what position they played. And watching him in the sidelines, you know, imitating Nolan's delivery and other pitchers, he had a good delivery, great mechanics, obviously, to throw like he did, and good pitches to go along with it. I really think Pudge could have played any position on the field. He could have been a shortstop because he had great feet, great hands, and a great arm. He ran well for a catcher. The only position he might have looked a little different at would have been first base, because he wasn't very tall. But he ran well enough to play a decent center field, and he threw well enough to play anywhere, and he had the hands to play any infield position.
Well, Kadire getting the reviews of the Twins bullpen out there. He has no record of pitching in a game. He's played first, second, third in the outfield. So we may be about to see it first.
Hey, from Kadire's standpoint, he can't do a whole lot worse than the guys that came before him.
No, he cannot. He can, in fact, be a whole lot better, even if he's just mediocre. Nishioka trying to keep this 8th inning going for the Twins. There was the story from the All-Star game. Kadire, given the chance to play first or third by Ron Washington, he went up to Michael Young and said, "Sorry, dude, I'm not playing third base." So he played first, and that kept Michael from becoming the first All-Star at 4 different positions, since he did not get a chance to play first. So Kadire, a versatile fellow. Maybe we're about to see just how versatile. Bottom third of the Ranger order is due up in the bottom of the 8th inning.
Oh, it's been 2 nights in a row where Ron Gardenhire had to use a lot of guys out of his bullpen, and he's got 3 more games in this series and a game tomorrow, and you have to save some of the guys and not pitch everybody tonight in a game you're not going to win anyway. I bet Kadire was a good pitcher in high school. He played at a high school, I think in Virginia, maybe. and there's another high draft choice on his team. I've forgotten the kid's name, but Mike wasn't the only good player on that team.
Nishioka grounds out to Davis. Twins come up with 3 runs on 3 hits, and here comes Michael Kadire, another major league first tonight at the ballpark. Look back at an even bigger offensive outburst. August 22nd, 2007 at Camden Yards. First of a doubleheader. And the Rangers weren't done until they had put 32 runs on the board that night. (30-3) that final, and this one is 20-5. And Michael Kadire becomes the first Twin position player since John Moses, July 31st of '90 against the Angels, to pitch in a game, and his early returns are not good, as Napoli is in safe at second with a leadoff double. A 4-hit night for Mike Napoli.
Yeah, and I would be shocked if Michael Kadire hasn't pitched, and pitched pretty well at some point in time in his amateur career, because he's got a nice windup, pretty good delivery, and he's tossing it up there at 87 miles an hour.
The high school you were thinking about, Great Bridge High School in Virginia.
Virginia, okay. It doesn't give the other kid that was on that team, does it? Might have been Curtis. His name
John Curtis.
Might have been Curtis, and might have been a left-hand pitcher maybe that the Red Sox drafted. Anyway, there was a couple of good kids on that team, and I bet you Kadire was the second pitcher on that team.
Well, John Curtis, first-round pick by the Red Sox. Moreland.
That's going to fall.
Repko couldn't get to it. Wynn knocked it down.
Yeah, Nishioka got completely fooled by the wind. I'm sure he's seen balls carry pretty well tonight, but those are balls below the upper deck. When it gets up real high like that, the wind blows it back a little bit. And I think Nishioka thought this ball was going to travel fairly deep to center field, and poor Repko never had a chance, never thought he had a chance, but Nishioka laid off it.
Moreland has a 3-hit game. And here is Chavez, who already has 3 hits and 3 runs batted in. Napoli's third career 4-hit game, also did it Friday against the Blue Jays. Kadire showing some decent velocity here. Mid to high 80s.
Yeah, the only thing, if you're on Gardenhire, that I guess you hold your breath a little bit is you want to make sure Kadire doesn't get hurt out there.
I guess the Spectre.
That's not the face of a happy manager.
First base, Mauer.
Be careful. Wow.
Double play.
He almost held on to that ball long enough to where Chavez beat it out at first base. He was going to throw to second, realized he couldn't get the runner at second, and by the time he got back to first, Chavez almost beat it out.
Looks like a double play ball here. Nope. Just in time. First base, Mike Everett was about to call him safe.
Safe, nope, out.
One out, second to third. Boy, how many times have we said that tonight? And Ian Kinsler now in search of a 5-hit game, and maybe Butera crossed up a little bit there by Kadire. Maybe a infielder, outfielder by trade. You got to know what he's got to throw. What a night for Ian. And it just dawns on us, he is a triple away from his second cycle. This would be a 5-hit cycle. And he's been there since the 5th inning. Double, 3-run homer, RBI single by the 4th. Well, he'll have a 3-0 pitch coming here from Kadire. And so much for any thoughts of the cycle. But the bases are loaded with one out for Elvis Andrus. Tom, I'm searching the Michael Kadire file, and I don't come up with any evidence that he has been a pitcher, not to say that he wasn't at high school. Broken bat, Plouffe coming in to make the catch in left field. So David Murphy will step up with 2 outs, the bases loaded here in the 8th. This would be only the second scoreless inning of the night for the Rangers if they don't get anything here. The other was the 6th. 3 in each of the first 3 innings. 5 in the 4th, 4 in the 5th, 2 in the 7th.
The thing that I think is great about letting a position player pitch is it's an experience, obviously, that's rare, but you'll never forget it. You pitched in a big league game, and you had a shutout inning.
Thanks to Nishioka hanging on to that one. Plouffe coming in hard. Yeah, so Kadire has got some standing now in that dugout.
You know, it puts a little levity on a lousy night. Ends it in a nice way for the Twins. I love it.
Well, the Twins are down to their last 3 outs, and they will face the Rangers closer. Now, why? What? Neftali Feliz is getting into the game. Yes, Ron Washington said before the game he would get him in tonight, hopefully for a save, even better with a 15-run lead. But Nefty needing some work, and so he is in for the 9th inning. And nothing's going to change in the save category. He's going to stay 20 for 24, but Tommy's also going to try and stay sharp because he's been pitching very well of late.
Yep, and obviously he's a key to the Rangers in the last 2 months of the year. Keep your closer sharp so that when he comes in to save a game, he gets the job done.
Let's say hi to John Radigan. What you got to add to this tonight?
Oh, my goodness. We just hope to be able to get through this thing with all the records intact. We're going to try to, the pens are smoking, the computers are smoking. We're going to try to put it all in perspective with all the records, unlike the progressive fan of the game. And I love to see the Rangers score a lot of runs. I'm not rooting for another 20 runs in this one, though, guys. Let's get to Rangers live, can we, please?
That would seem a little greedy.
Yeah.
Well, here's Feliz, who has retired the last 12 batters he has faced, but has only pitched, including this one, in 4 of the last 10 games. And 11 of the last 25. Repko, Casilla, and Mauer here in the top of the 9th. And that will end the run of consecutive batters retired as Repko has his second hit of the night. Well, the Rangers with 20 runs, second most in club history, most ever scored in Arlington. 27 hits, 3 errors, 13 left. 6 Rangers had at least 3 hits. 3 had 4 hits. Kinsler 4 for 6, 2 runs, 4 driven in. Cruz 4 for 6, 2 runs, drove in 1. Napoli 4 for 5, scored 3. Actually 7 Rangers with at least 3 hits. Andrews 3 for 6, scored 2, drove in 2. Young 3 for 5, drove in 3, scored 2. Moreland 3 for 5, scored 2, drove in 2. Chavez 3 for 6, scored 3, drove in 3. It takes a while to run through all that. .43 total bases for the Rangers, a major league high this year. Casilla scored the first Minnesota run after leadoff single in the 4th. He is 1 for 4. And now Feliz behind him, 3-0. And Wash has him out there to throw a minimal number of pitches, get in some work. But definitely not to struggle.
Well, so many times you see a closer come into a game where the game is not on the line just to get his work in, and he has a hard time summoning up the adrenaline to go out there and pitch the way he normally does. Not used to being in a game like this. No excuse. Still have to go out and get the job done.
Well, the first 2 have reached. That is only the second walk issued by the 4 Ranger pitchers, Holland, Feldman, and Rhodes. The only previous walk was Kadire, who scored one of the 3 in the 8th off of Arthur Rhodes. Mauer is 0 for 4. Last 2 trips, typical outs for him. Opposite field flies, and first time up he struck out. Only time he has reached tonight was on a fielder's choice. There's a couple of strikes, and it's 0-2. This for Joe Mauer, game 44 out of 102. Spent week after week on the disabled list with bilateral leg weakness, injury not many, if any, had ever heard of. And this should be 2. Quintanilla, Andrews, Moreland, 4-6-3 with a nice flare by Omar out there at second base.
Yeah, you watch Quintanilla turn that double play. I thought it was Kinsler out there. Seen Ian do that several times. Haven't had a chance to see Omar play that much. But you can tell he's handled the infield positions a lot himself. The confidence to make that backhand flip out of the glove. Nicely done.
So with 2 outs, the last of 6 Minnesota pitchers, Michael Kadire.
And the good thing about that double play is it gives Neffy a chance to do exactly what you said. Get out of the inning with a minimal amount of pitches. He's only had 10 right now.
And he is a strike away. Derek Holland, 6 innings, 1 unearned run, 5 hits, 4 strikeouts, no walks. He's about to get his career high 9th win against 4 losses. Feliz cannot make the play, and another run scores as Repko comes home, and it's 20-6. And Feliz will have to throw at least another couple pitches after the E1.
He's upset at himself for not getting that last out. Cost him an earned run.
Yeah, this is the Rangers' 4th error of the night.
What do you call it an error? It's not an earned run then.
So here's Kubel, who in the bottom of the 8th played right field, and so another unusual aspect about this game, the Twins losing the DH. Not that it matters one whit, but you just don't see it very often. DH going out into the field, but then how often do you see a position player pitch? Not that often either. 35,573 the attendance tonight. A lot of folks still here enjoying every last minute of this one. Feliz again down to the last strike of the game. One misses at 97, and it's 2-2. 16th pitch by Feliz. Boy, the fans here still into it as if it was 7-6, not 20-6.
Yeah, see that last out. They stayed for it. So a couple of good curveballs in this inning. That's one positive about the outing. Gives them an opportunity in a game like this to work on something. Tough to do it when you come in to close a game. You've got to throw the pitches that give you the best chance to save the game. Right now it doesn't matter. So he can work on that curveball a little bit.
Still 3-2. Holland for 6. Feldman an inning, a run on 2 hits. Rhodes in the 8th, 3 runs on 3 hits. Feliz here in the 9th, a run on a hit, a walk, and an error, his own error. But this should do it as Chavez is under it out in center field, and the Rangers have a historic victory, 20-6. An awesome display of offense and excellent starting pitching again tonight, a big part of the Rangers story as they improve again to 15 games over 500, 59-44 with the Angels lost 3-2 at Cleveland. Again, the Rangers are 4 games up on LA atop the American League West, and they have their club record 11th straight victory and a series opener, most ever in a single season. This one never in doubt after a 3-run first. Texas Rangers baseball on Fox Sports Southwest, brought to you by Southwest Airlines. New Rapid Rewards, unlimited reward seats, and no blackout dates. By the Progressive Insurance Group. For money-saving car insurance quote, call 1-800-PROGRESSIVE today. And by your Texas Ford dealers. Check out the Ford F-150 and drive one. Ford is the best in Texas. 20 runs on 27 hits, a 14-run margin of victory for the Rangers. Rangers Live is on the other side.